I just remember in the moment, I'm just like, I'm gonna go for it. Throw the leg over, and I'm just like, please don't lose it. Please. I'm just holding the elbow. I'm like, don't slip, please tap. When it first started popping, it was like, do I just let it break and try and pull my foot out? And then it's like keeps popping and keeps getting worse. And I'm like, it's so early in the match. I'm like, if it was later in the match, I'm more willing to like take it out, like just eat the break and just keep the match going. Yeah, he got so much better in the 3-month camp. It was unbelievable. But the first day I got there, I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna lose first round. And then I trained with him the week before ADCC, and I was like, right, he is a problem. Who is juicing and who's not juicing? You never know, you know, because like Levi and both all the Rotolos, they claim they don't juice, right? And Levi and Cade both got to the final of like CJI under 80, which was meant to be the most like prestigious bracket, like the best bracket ever, you know? Craig literally called me before ADCC. I was with PJ Barch, and he was like, how funny is it that you could win 66 and people are gonna not care because CJI is happening at the same time?
Is that what he said?
And I was like,
Owen Jones.
yes sir,
Welcome back to the podcast, my friend.
we're back, baby. It's good to be back.
I know back in the UK as well. How long have you been back for now?
I've been back for 3 days.
3 days, nice.
Been in this miserable, cold, cloudy weather, bro. It's actually horrible.
Where have you been? You've been out Australia, haven't you?
I was in Asia for like a month and a bit, and then I was in Australia, and then I just came back. And I went to Portugal for a week as well. Everywhere I've been to has been like hot and sunny.
How much better is all those places than you?
Oh, so much better, actually, significantly. It was funny, even this morning, like I completely forgot I woke up, and my dad's getting ready, and he's like putting a jumper on a jacket to go outside to smoke cigarette, and I'm like, why is he putting on so many clothes? And then I remember, I'm like, oh, because it's freezing outside. And I go, oh, it's going to be windy, cloudy weather. It's horrible. But nah, it's good to be back though. There are positives to this country. Just my friends, but the rest, everything else is better. The weather, food is better in other places, but we're here now.
That's it. Yeah. And you came down to see us, mate, so thank you for coming down. Obviously got the seminar this evening, which we're looking forward to.
Yes, sir. Me and Dima.
I know it's going to be sick, and then we've got him for a chat later as well, which will be really good fun.
Yeah, that'll be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting Dima.
Man.
Yeah, I like the Germans. I think every German I've ever met have always been really cool. They're funny guys. They're funny people.
Yeah, he'll be good for this for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, mate, let's chat about ADCC. So last time we saw you'd obviously won the trials, and you were still in the UK at that point, but obviously starting to sort of prep for ADCC. Everyone's aware of your performance, mate. So good and bad points to your performance.
Decent. It was all right.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, overall, happy that I've come away with good results from it, you know. It's changed my life dramatically, but obviously I wanted to win. And I think last time I was here, I was talking about how Pat would be a hard match for me as well, right? And then ultimately it was the one that I lost. But now that one's personal now. I'm going to get that one back. He hit me with the DX suck it. So now it's war. It means war. But overall, you know, good performance. It was the camp at B-Team was unreal, you know, like 3 months straight with the best guys. Dima made it like very structured, so it was pretty sick. Trained with like I had Ethan, Damien in my division, Shushu, one Chinese kid friend of Jozef's came out. So like actually at one point in the B-Team camp, we had like me, Gerbeg, Ethan and Shushu, like 4 ADCC compared to 66, all in one room. It's just like, yeah, it's like a quarter of the division all in one room training. So it was pretty sick training, and yeah, then good performance, come away with decent results, and now don't have to do the trials again. That's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Just get the invite.
That's nice, isn't it? It must be nice.
Hey grapplers, we are now sponsored by X Marshall.
X Marshall have sent us some new quality British design rash guards. These are just the British designs, but they do loads and loads of really cool designs. You know, they got the OnlyFans ones, they got the Hillbilly ones, they got the Pornhub ones, they got all the
Game of Chokes.
They got all that sort of stuff, which to be honest, you just don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, 100%. And they also specialise in not just no-gi, but also Muay Thai as well. So if you're cross-training and you want to pick up some Thai boxing shorts, then that's the place to go as well.
Genuinely really do like them. I think they feel really nice. That's what I like about them. They feel really nice. They got the band at the bottom, you know, and I've took them for a spin and they sweat up quite nicely.
And better yet, guys, we've managed to secure a really good discount for our audience. So if you use our link below, then you get an automatic 15% off of everything on their website.
Get that up, look, so they can see that shit.
Tell us about the experience of ADCC, because obviously there was the CJI and ADCC kind of debacle. And obviously CJI was paying athletes, but ADCC always claims to have that privilege, the prestige, and the spectacle, like being there, competing in that stadium? What was that like?
Yeah, so I actually managed to go to both.
Nice.
Because the Friday was the first day of CJI where Jozef was competing and stuff like that. So I went Friday to see before I competed on Sunday. It's like I weighed in everything, and after I weighed in, I headed straight over there. And like CJI was the first day. It was relatively busy, but like I think the fact that it's all on one mat makes it more of a spectacle, you know, because everyone's focused on one thing. So if the match is boring, everyone's watching a boring match, and if the match is entertaining, everyone's watching an entertaining match, you know. So when we were watching it, I think the crowd is more engaged because it's all focused on one mat. And I think the first day was run quite well. It was like, it slowly picked up, you know, because it was at the over 80s first, and everyone knew kind of it was like Nicky versus Victor Hugo kind of final.
Yeah.
But then Lucas Cannard just subbed Victor Hugo, so that kind of threw that out the window. But then once that happened, everyone knew Nicky was going to win, so people, I don't think, tuned in that much for it. But then, yeah, it built up throughout the day. The under 80 started, then I was there for that, watched a few of the matches. They're pretty sick. But I ended up having to leave quite early because it went on till like 2 a.m. and I was competing the next day. So I went back at like 11 maybe, slept, and then, yeah, ADCC. Obviously, first day competing. Honestly, it was quite empty, but like how the event was run, it was like massive T-Mobile. It was crazy. You know, you had like all the flames coming out, everyone shouting your name, you know. I think that was pretty sick. And I always like love and live for those moments, you know, like high pressure situations where everyone thinks like, how's he going to perform against these high level guys, you know? I think it gets my adrenaline going. I like that. So it was pretty sick going out there. T-Mobile, it wasn't that busy, honestly, the first day. Even the second day ADCC, not many people went. But after I competed, I managed to get the 2 subs. After that, I went back to CJI. So I went CJI Saturday, and it was packed. Bro, it was unreal. It was like literally couldn't even get a seat. Luckily, Craig fucking managed to give me a little VIP, little wristband, so I was sitting on that side.
Nice.
But like, it was literally packed, and everyone was engaged. You know, like people were actually cheering, booing. Even if people are booing, at least they're being loud. You know, making noise. I feel like the issue when I go to jiu-jitsu things is like everyone would just sit there in silence like this.
Oh, mate, Polaris was like that.
Polaris is the worst for it as well.
You don't want to even like fight in there, mate. Cause,
really?
Yeah, it's so quiet.
It's dead silent. It's boring.
Why do you think that is though? Because it's so opposite to like UFC and cage fighting and stuff. I know it's obviously a bit more exciting cage fighting, but you still think jiu-jitsu can be exciting. You can get involved in it, can't you?
But I think it's like what Dan Strauss was saying, that most people that watch jiu-jitsu do jiu-jitsu. So everyone's just sat there studying what's happening, and not actually like getting behind.
Potentially, I think also people are kind of like, they're scared to make noise and stuff like this, because you know, when I've been to other events where there's like, it's more like run by Brazilians, stuff like this, they're quite loud, you know?
Yeah.
They're all shouting, they all make chants, you know? They have like chants for like OGs like Roger Gracie and Browley, all have chants, you know?
Yeah.
And like when they're competing, even IBJJF, you know? You're at IBJJF Worlds and Jansen Gomez is getting to the final and you have all the checkmat guys screaming, like, yeah, the Gracie Barra guys screaming. So I think it's more of like a cultural thing as well, like the fact that in London or in America, people are like way more apprehensive to scream and stuff like this.
They need someone like Barry Hand to do what he done to darts. You know, where darts was like shit and boring. And then he come in and he made it like everyone gets pissed up, watch it. Have you ever been to a darts night?
No, I have to say
they're the best fucking nights. But they make it so like you got to cheer at certain points, you got to be quiet. Then you're fucking heckling the darts players, mate, as you're doing it. And it is a great night. And that's what I think they need for jiu-jitsu, like someone to actually go in and make it like a different spectacle.
I think this is what CGI did quite well, you know? I think people like Andrew Tackett, you had obviously Craig, who were like, Andrew was doing, honestly, I think too much at points, but like...
Mate, I know.
But like, ultimately, he got the crowd entertained, you know? He's like making people cheer and making noise, you know? And he had the crazy spectacle, Craig versus Gabby. You know, like, that's unreal that happened.
Yeah,
like that has so many views, and then you have like matches like Cade versus Andrew Tackett, which is probably like, people like saying it's like the best jiu-jitsu match in history, stuff like this. So it's like they had loads of crazy spectacles going on that.
I think it's so because Craig is so Craig. He makes it into that spectacle, and then it's like everyone's a bit looser going into it. I felt
he
like
did that little strip stroke, right?
Yeah, everyone was happy to like take a piss and get involved, and I think that's what it needs. It's like find jiu-jitsu can be a bit uptight.
Yeah, I feel like it was almost sprinkled with a little like WWE in it, you know?
Yeah,
where it's kind of like that kind of like fakeness of like he has her on their free lock leg lock and he's looking at the crowd, you know, and they got the commentators shouting. I can't even remember what's that. Do you know that guy's name? What's that? Do you know?
I don't know what that.
Yeah.
The fucking Brazilian guy.
He's not Brazilian.
No, he's not.
But he puts that accent.
The one who like fucking trolled Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know what
or whatever he's called.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like honestly, he got a little bit annoying, but like I think even like that just made it more of like entertainment factor, you know? Kind of like that spectacle. But I didn't actually get to see the second day much of ADCC because after I got subbed by Pato, I went straight to the pool party and started drinking, and I didn't really watch any jiu-jitsu after there. I kind of wanted to switch off, you know, because it was like 3 months of a camp and then competing in like the biggest tournament, and then obviously not the result I wanted. If I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of watching jiu-jitsu, you know. I was like, I want to get out here, get on the piss and stuff. Enjoy Vegas, you know. I've been in Vegas for 3 days and I've done nothing. I've just cut weight, been depressed, and that's it. So I'm like, I'm going to go eat food, drink.
Was it good?
Oh, bro.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not been Vegas.
Yeah, I've been, but it wasn't too. It was a pretty chilled, chill time. Yeah,
Bro, from like 12:30 at night, if you saw me at Hakkasan and you asked for a photo, I do not remember. Do not post it anywhere. I have no recollection.
Send it in to us, please.
put it in the comments.
Yeah. At one point, it was unreal night though, very good. But I did get very, very drunk towards the end. Yeah, just can't really remember what happened.
Yeah, I feel like with that sort of thing, if you've, like you say, you've been like prepping for so long, and then you have the event, and then it's almost like a bit of probably an adrenaline dump mixed with alcohol as well. Everyone else is drinking, you're gonna go wild in you a bit.
I think people talk about this, like athletes talk about this quite a lot, where it's like they have the whole focus for one camp, and it's like a massive adrenaline dump after, and you like kind of get depressed because like you've focused everything in your life for such like a long period of time just for this one thing, and now it's over. And I have to wait either like another 2 years for it to come, or another year, CJI in August maybe, under 70.
Are they going to do it, do you reckon?
I don't know.
That'd be sick.
I don't know. I've had, I don't know, Craig's been saying some things, but who knows with Craig, you know? Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
I think that was the best thing about ADCC in your division. You had everyone in there. So
Yes,
it was the
stacked.
only, it was the only division that was fucking still intact. Everything else got stripped. So even though, you know, getting any sort of ADCC medal is still really good, it does have a tinge other than your division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Craig literally called me before ADCC. I was with PJ Barch. He was like, how funny is it that you could win 66 and people are going to not care because CJI is happening at the same time?
Is that what he said?
And I was like, he was like, no one's going to leave your division, but people are still going to say it's the like worst ADCC ever. And I'm like, fuck you, you little shit. But apparently, he was saying that there's going to be another one in August or at some point next year. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. That would be pretty sick. Competing for 1 million, I would actually take that very seriously. You know,
it's life changing, isn't it? It's life changing.
Because even the ADCC camp, it was only like I stopped drinking like 3 weeks out of the camp. You know, like so like for like 6 weeks, for like the first 3 weeks of the camp, we were still going out, you know, enjoying it, and like I wasn't fully locked in, you know. But for 1 million, I think I can drop everything. I can lock in for 6 weeks. You know, I can get the prep down. I think because 1 million will change. Because even if I won ADCC, you know, like it doesn't necessarily mean everything's gonna change. Like you can still struggle to get things. Obviously, luckily I didn't, but like I think it depends how you win as well, you know? Like I know like Bodoni's won ADCC twice, and it's like your ability to sell out a seminar compared to like I reckon Jay will probably sell out a seminar more than Bodoni just because of
100%.
personality and like influence on social media, how he wins, how entertaining his matches are, you know? I think this was a big factor with my performance that I got, I guess, lucky with, but also I guess it's my style is the fact that most of my matches were entertaining. The 2 matches, it was like I wasn't trying to stall and win on advantages. It was more go out, try and sub the guy. If I sub the guy, great. If I get subbed, you get caught.
Yeah.
You move on, you know?
Yeah, and Jay's exactly the same, isn't he? Just all or nothing. Literally all or
just
nothing.
scrap.
Just scrap and see what happens, really.
Yeah, he got so much better in the 3-month camp. It was unbelievable. But the first day I got there, I was like, this guy's going to lose first round. And then I trained with him the week before ADCC, and I was like, right, he is a problem. He was passing out my guard. I was like, I can't do nothing to him. I can't keep a hold of him. His legs are so slippery. He's just getting out past my guard easy. I'm like, this is not fun. But he improved a lot. I reckon through the camp, I think everyone made improvements, but he probably made the biggest jump because he has the most to learn. You know, he still doesn't know jiu-jitsu like that much. You know, like he's obviously very good and naturally moves very well, but his technical knowledge isn't amazing. So like Dima's just giving him basic information of things that he needs to do to avoid getting entangled, and he's just able to put it into effect immediately because natural ability, you know? He's got that Rodriguez genetics.
You forget as well, he's only been training, 3-4 years?
I think something like that, yeah.
It's like, no, it's nothing, is it?
Yeah,
it's literally nothing, is it? You know what I mean?
But to be fair, most of the guys, I think now, I know Taylor talks about this as well, like it's much easier to get better now, you know? There's way more 100%. Avenues to get better, you know? Like even like Josef's only been training 6 years. I've been training 7 years. Jay's been training 4. Plenty of guys have only been training for like short amounts of time. Have got a very good. And there's also the opposite of people who've been training for like 20 plus years and still at the top of the game, you know, doing.
I thought you were going to say 20 years is still shit.
But this is also the case, right? Like you're either good at jiu-jitsu or you're not. I
Yeah,
think this
yeah.
is also an important factor, right? It's the same as anything. I think people love to like kind of factor it differently, you know? People like say, oh, but jiu-jitsu is different. Like it's not. It's the same as every other sport. You're not going to watch an NFL guy or a rugby player or a football player and go, anyone can be like that. Because they can't, you know? Not anyone can be Messi. You can train as
Mate,
much as you
100%.
want. Brother, it's not possible.
I've said this so many times.
You can't do it.
You can play football your whole life and still be shit when you're 20, 21. You know, there's people that don't even play a semi-pro standard and they played their whole life. It's the same with jiu-jitsu. You can get people that, like you said, 3 or 4 years can be really good. And then, yeah, they're really good and they can go on to do great things. Well, there's people who train 15 years dedicated and still not even reach like a good standard
Because
nationally.
it's like, yeah, I think it's just like, but even people who are juicing, some people juice and they still suck. I think it's just like, if it comes to you, then like, I feel like when I was young, like people can attest to it. It was like, I get shown something and I could apply it quite quick. But this was the thing for me in most sports, you know? And I think jiu-jitsu was just enhanced because, I don't know, naturally, it came naturally to me, you know? The same thing with Jozef, you know? If I show something, obviously he's different now because he knows jiu-jitsu very well, but I show him something, Jay's probably a better example, you know? We show him something, he can immediately apply it. Whereas I show other people things, like in my classes and stuff like that, and it takes them 3, 4, 5, 6 times of drilling it and doing it on multiple sessions for it to then keep it in their mind and then to apply it in a round, you know? I think the ability to just like make decisions under pressure and stuff like this. I was talking with this with my dad the other day, actually, that's like your ability to make decisions under pressure and react to what the person's doing. Because people say jiu-jitsu is like chess, you know? But then it's like, it's not, because I can take 5 turns in a row, partial guard, mount you, take your back, and you've had no goes. And I've just checkmated you. It's like, so it can be very one-sided, you know? So it's like, it's about if you can keep up with the pace of like making decisions and your ability to make decisions in the moment, you know?
It's definitely decision making and reaction times. I think
Yeah.
that's the 2 key things. It's,
Yeah.
you know, if you think of when someone's fast like you and you're passing my guard, if I don't react quick enough, you're passed. That's it. It's as simple as that.
For sure, right? I think those are the 2 things, yeah, reaction times and like your ability to kind of like see things. And then the other attributes come in like speed, strength, and like then technique also comes into perspective towards the end, you know?
Yeah, I think some of those physical attributes definitely play into like the mental attributes as well. Like if you look at any elite sport and you look at sort of poor decision making, it's normally around sort of fatigue. So if someone's not in great shape and they're knackered, they're going to make poor decisions, even if they are clever. And I think also sort of flexibility and mobility is a massive factor in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it flex. But like there are people who are also super stiff.
Yeah.
Like kind of Dwight is not very flexible.
Yeah.
And he double gold with ADCC, you know? But he is big,
Yeah.
juicy, you know? He's just folding people in half and just crushing them, you know? And there's like other people like Mikey who are just ridiculously small but hyper flexible, you know? I think they're all spectrums. It's just if you can make your jiu-jitsu work at the highest level, then you can, you know?
Yeah.
Because everyone has different styles and everyone plays guards slightly differently. Everyone does things differently, you know? Like even Lachlan, like I trained with Lachlan recently, it's like he's very flexible. I trained with Levi, he's unbelievably flexible as well, but their flexibility is different. Lachlan has like super flexible hamstrings and he like always elevate you from north-south, whereas like Levi can just like put both his knees under his armpits, you know? Like I put some pressure, just both his knees go into the floor. I'm just like, how am I going to pass now? You know, his arms are so long, he's just pushing me away. I'm like, oh, this is long. But yeah, I think these attributes definitely come into factors later on in jiu-jitsu, but I think the reaction time is important. It's the same thing as like F1 drivers as well, right? They're like, people don't see them as athletes, but like their reaction times and their like their ability to like, you know, the G-force in a car that is going that fast and the ability to turn corners and stuff like this, you're an athlete. It's just a different form of athlete, you know? Same as darts over there as well, you know? Everything's just perspective. Just because it's not the traditional athleticism, I think people kind of like...
I think top people make it work on their body type, like just through their mind. A lot of the time, like you look at someone, a professional athlete, like a footballer, you know, there's so many different types of footballers. You know, some people are really fast, strong, whatever, technical, but they're all still professionals, and the way they score a goal or the way they take a free kick is different, but they all get the same result, and it's the same in jiu-jitsu, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely helps. Let's go back to ADCC and break down your matches, mate, if we can.
Oh yeah, of course. Wow. More than welcome to.
It was cool because obviously the podcast we had for you previously, I've changed the title now, but we always had, I think it was a quote from the last podcast where you said, I think I'll beat
Gabriel Souza.
Yeah, Baby Shark and win ADCC. And obviously you started with beating Gabriel Souza, so it was like fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was on the route. If only Baby Shark and Pato, you know, were on the same side, then I would have fucking got to the final, beat Baby Shark. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I mean, with Gabriel, it was like, obviously I have massive respect for him, you know. Did I talk about how I lived with him before?
I don't think so.
I didn't talk about this. When I was 17, I went out for GI Worlds, IBJJF GI Worlds. I was a blue belt. And I stayed with him for 3 months after GI Worlds in his house in North Carolina. He like probably looked after me and shit this. Yeah. Like I stayed with him and a guy called Vinicius in his house and stuff like this. We trained for 3 months. This was like right before he fought Mikey on the WNO. So like we had that kind of relationship, and then obviously I went back and then we went our separate ways. But then he used to come to London he came to London a few times and we trained. And this was after a few years, so I got significantly better. So I kind of knew that our levels were significantly closer. So I was quite confident going towards that match. And it was kind of the match I wanted to, almost like a student master thing, you know, like he used to teach me, he used to beat me up, and I kind of wanted to like overcome that step, you know. I wanted to compete against someone who's on like the highest level and that I know I can beat, you know. And then I thought the path to victory was going to be like, I thought I was going to beat Gabriel. I didn't know Dorian was going to lose to Gearbag. Elliot was actually one of my friends, was the only person who thought that was going to happen. Everybody else thought Dorian was just going to rinse him, but yeah, he lost to Gearbag, which was a surprising factor for me, but also a good thing. You know, I'd already trained with Gearbag in the B-Team like rooms, and I think he always has that hole of like that his leg lock defense isn't amazing, you know. Like he's very good at like wrestling, he has physical, he's good scrambles, his guard's pretty good, but I think he's still a little bit behind when it comes to leg lock defense. I think a lot of the Dagestani guys and a lot of the people on that side of the country, like all wrestlers in general, just like under like trained leg lock defense, you know. Like he's good at preventing you from entangling him, but once you get deep on entanglement, like I'm gonna be able to finish it. That was the mindset going into that match. It was like, as long as I get on his leg, the second I get on it, I'll finish it. It's just how long it's gonna take me to get onto the leg. Because I was worried he was gonna be able to like keep like backing up, stalling me out to overtime, and then obviously wrestling with him would have been long. He would have been grabbing up my hands, I would have been running away. But you know, I think obviously I got entangled him straight away. I got the fastest submission of the tournament, which was pretty sick. That was yeah. But the Gabriel match, obviously, I thought I was gonna leg lock him, but I think it was like, I reckon around minute 5 or minute 6, we were like sort of, I started to get a little bit fatigued, and I was like, oh, it's definitely going to overtime, you know. Like you can tell, like I got to a few of my deep leg entanglements early on, and when I didn't get the finish, I was like, all right, now we're gonna have to strategize for if it goes to overtime. We're gonna have to wrestle. We're gonna have to, and I was always incorporating like submissions off of getting taken down and off of like my own takedowns. With I was doing a lot with PJ Barch and a lot with Dima, because it's kind of like one of the attributes I have with jiu-jitsu is being, I mean, attribute I've had always been quite explosive, you know, like snapping onto things quite quickly. So that obviously came to fruition with the armbar. You know, he tried to take me down. I managed to sprawl and hit the
beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah. So satisfying, you know. Like I'm happy I didn't leg lock him, you know. happy I got that little highlight out of it.
Yeah, it was a nice little highlight reel, that one.
Yeah, that was sick. I just remember in the moment, I'm just like, I'm gonna go for it. Throw the leg over, and I'm just like, please don't lose it. Please. I'm just holding the elbow. I'm like, don't slip, please tap. And I get a tap. I was like, oh yes, that was unreal. And then yeah, I had Gearbag next, obviously sub Gearbag, and then day 2 didn't go as planned. You know, that was my first ever like 2-day tournament. Like I've never competed back to back, so I think it was very difficult and a thing that I need to get better and do more often, because it was like the adrenaline and the spike I had of like 2 submissions day 1. Everyone's blowing up my phone. Everyone's messaging on Instagram. You know, I go to CJI. Everyone's like, "Oh, you just done crazy good." And then it's like 1 a.m. I'm in my hotel room, just sitting like this, wide awake, can't go to sleep. I'm like, I need to be up at 7:30 tomorrow morning to go to the venue. I'm like, go to sleep. What's wrong? You know, take a melatonin. I'm like, please go to sleep. And you wake up the next morning, it's like, I don't really want to do jiu-jitsu today. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I'm down. I'm like, oh, can't really be bothered, you know. And then you have to like get yourself locked in again, hype yourself up, you know. Because every other tournament I've done, it's always been one day. Like trials is one day, GI Worlds has been one day. Everything, all the major tournaments have always been, all right, you compete one day and then after that you can chill, you're done.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like competing and then going to sleep and waking up and have to switch back on again and do the same thing again. And this time fight 2 people who are better than the first 2 people you fought, because you're in the second day. It's just like, it's a skill set that I have to develop, obviously competing more. And like obviously people like Pato and Hayes have been around for much longer. They've done this significantly more. So I think it'll be very, very different when I have more experience doing these kind of 2-day tournaments and getting better at that. So
Yeah, but the trials just one day as well, are they?
yeah, trials was one day. It was a long day though.
I was about to say that must have been a savage day.
Yeah. My first match was like 9 a.m. My last match was like 8 p.m. It was long.
Shit. Okay.
It was long. But then like I think the fact that it's one day is like I can still like kind of like
Push for it.
yeah. I'm like tomorrow you rest. You know.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's over. Like you win trials and then you go into Vegas, right? Whereas like I've just won 2 subs. I'm sitting there, my phone's blown off. I'm like, oh, I've done it. And then it's going like, no, you haven't done it. You know, you're not finished. It's not over. And it's just trying to like stay switched on like that. And you have everyone telling you you've done so well. Everyone's giving you all this positive affirmation. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you've done. Because people didn't expect me to go like to day 2 and sub both like Gabriel and Gerbeg. You know, I think certain people who were close around me knew, but I think guys just thought I'd have like a decent performance. I don't think anybody thought I would have like I reckon a stand-up performance out of ADCC out of anyone, you know? I was one of the underdogs going in. I think I had like 80-1 odds on like the betting site.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like the most, me and Shushu, that guy Asian trials winner, were the like lowest ranked on the betting website. And I got to day 2 with 2 subs.
Yeah.
So everyone's just like giving me all these things and I'm just like so overwhelmed. It's having to like kind of like switch back on and try and lock in. But it's something I'm going to work on, get better at. And then obviously use that in future comps will be.
Yeah, definitely. How did the body feel in the second day? Was you feeling tired?
It wasn't, honestly, it wasn't too, tired, but not too bad. It was more of like a mental thing, I think. It was more like going in, like waking up early, like not much sleep and trying to like motivate myself to go compete, you know? I think there was also other mental factors, you know, because I think I compete, I'm quite like a emotional grappler, you know, like when I'm going into matches, I try and hype myself up and I try and like, I'm listening to music, I'm playing like Ray Lewis highlights, hype videos, you know? So it's like when I also on the same day, like PJ Barch lost to Mika in like a very controversial decision that I think he definitely watched the match, you know? He definitely won the match. He's literally dominating. And it's like, that's also taken into factors. Nothing to take away from Pato. He caught me with a crazy footlock, which I didn't see coming, which is probably would have happened anyway. But I think these are just like factors that I need to take into account for next time, just to have a better performance in general.
Yeah. Break down that Powell match for us then, mate, because obviously the level in which you guys compete at is very technical. For a lot of people watching, they might not have seen the finer details of what happened there. So can you explain?
Yeah, so I mean, the plan for Pato was to stay on top and pass. And then we kind of like switched up the game plan literally super last minute, like right before the match. We were like, oh, I'm just going to pull guard and try and play from bottom and entangle him, try and leg lock him. And like kind of like almost just got a bit taken away with like just how the weekend was going already, you know? Like everything was going so well. I was just like, oh, I'm going to leg lock Pato. I was thinking in the back, I'm like, no one's going to stop me. I'm going to leg lock everyone, you know? And then like initially it starts and I'm like, he enters my guard and I'm like, oh, like I don't feel much threat, you know? I don't feel like he doesn't feel crazy heavy. He doesn't feel like crazy passing pressure or anything like this. And then I think I managed to entangle him once and then he manages to escape. And the second time I entangled, I just put both of my legs on the outside and he kind of like sat back for a straight footlock, but my foot ended up kind of turning sideways. So it was like a steamer lock pressure. And then there wasn't much pressure when he was like hugging my leg with the straight ankle grip. It was the minute he started locking the triangle, then my foot started to pop, you know? And it popped maybe like 3-4 times. And it was like, when it first started popping, it was like, do I just let it break and try and pull my foot out? And then it's like, keeps popping and it keeps getting worse. And I'm like, it's so early in the match. I'm like, if it was later in the match, I'm more willing to like take it out, like just eat the break and just keep the match going. But it's like, it's so early on. I can't, if he breaks my foot proper bad, I'm not even able to, how am I going to win the match? You know, I can't get up, I can't pass, can't wrestle. So then I was just like, and it just kept getting tighter and tighter. And I was like, yeah, I'm not getting out of this. It was tight. So I think it was just like, yeah, me underestimating his like submissions from top, you know, just being too one-dimensional of like trying to entangle him and then him sitting back on my legs. Whereas I should have just been playing inside position the whole time, keep my legs in between his legs. I made the mistake of putting them both on the outside. But the factor is I will never make that mistake again. So we learn, we get better.
You learned, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure. If I was older, I would be definitely way more upset, but many more ADCCs to come. And if there was 1 million on the line, I would definitely be way more upset.
Yeah.
100%.
No way.
Yeah. And it also happened quite early on the match. It was quite quick. So it wasn't even like I was winning the match and then got caught. It was like just first match, you know, not all the way warm. You get caught is what it is. Go again.
So if you did that match again, like now, would you change that approach, going back to plan A?
For sure. Yeah,
or would you just focus on the inside control?
Plan A, yeah, for sure. I definitely think I could stay on top past the guard, you know? Like, especially after watching him versus Hayes, you know?
Yeah,
if I'm just doing my because it's probably my best attribute, honestly, is my guard passing. So I think it was silly not to do that, but me and Dima have talked about, it happens. Like, it's not always going to go your way every time, so it's just learn from it, get better, go again,
Yeah.
And obviously, just don't be afraid to keep talking shit, you risk it, but it's always worth it.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You got to be you, and I think this is it. Like you say, like I think you obviously had some standout performances, but I think your energy and everything else, just that all kind of wraps up to make you very marketable, and I think that's why you're obviously doing very well now as well. So yeah, definitely don't change any of that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not even. I think it's just like me being myself, but kind of just like obviously turn up a bit. Like there's a certain side of like that kind of like egotistical kind of thing, just like turn up a notch, because it's like. People meet me all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're really nice." I'm just like, "Whoa, I'm not gonna be. I'm not like that all the time. It's this one thing that I'm confident in myself in, and that I have to. Like, if you're talking about your own jiu-jitsu and you're not confident in yourself that you're gonna win things, it's like, why go and compete in that tournament? Like, if I was talking about ADCC and I'm like, yeah, 4 matches, I don't think I can win. Like, if you're talking like this, you've already lost going in,
Yeah.
Where it's like, I believe wholeheartedly that I'll beat everyone in the world at 66, Whether or not I do on a certain day, given day, could depend, There are days Power beats me, there's days I reckon I could beat Power, you never know, but I do believe there is a day where I could beat everyone. So I think this is kind of like the mindset I have, and I think not having that mindset is kind of, it's difficult to compete at the highest level, I don't know who does. Maybe Jozef, but also he doesn't do the best actually at competing. Like, he doesn't perform as well as he trains. You have like loads of people who train better than they compete, and people who compete better than they train. I think I compete better than I train. Like someone like Jozef trains better than they compete.
Yeah,
so I think it depends which kind of category you fall into. And then usually those resolve around confidence. It's like people who train really well, but then they get nervous before competition, they're scared and all these things, and they kind of downgrade their performance. And then you have people who are super confident and they go and then they excel and like almost overperform, I guess, than what people would expect from them.
Yeah, 100%. You definitely see that a lot, I think. And how bad was the ankle?
Not too bad. This one's been broken so many times.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. There's probably no ligaments in it as
Fine.
it is, but as much as I can train now, it's way better. I'm competing on IEGA in December, so
Okay.
I'm feeling ready for that. I can train now. It's like a little bit, like if it gets caught in like a tight submission, I have definitely less late stage defense, but
Yeah.
I'm just more aware of it now, so it's just keep doing rehab, getting it better.
Yeah, I was trying to work out if you ducked out of the third place match for the pool party or because of the
I
ankle.
couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. The ankle was it was fully taped with like ice all over it.
Yeah.
And then it was only about like 7-8 tequilas in when I could start walking. I'm just sitting on the pool. I'm sitting on the pool bed. I'm just down the drinks, and eventually it's the best painkiller ever.
That is, mate, yeah.
Tequila, just couple in. I'm just like, all right, I can feel it loosen up. I was like, is the third place match still available? I can swing back. the foot's back in action.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I did, because it was like, especially the way it happened, and it was like I couldn't walk in the back. Josh Snaros is I think a high level compare as well. If he seems also to compete quite smart. I'm sure he would have just grabbed my leg and sat back on it, and there's nothing I could have done to stop it. It was like so fragile to like anything on the day, where it's like even just like pushing my toes down hurt so much, and it's like, how am I avoiding someone that good at just grabbing my leg is just not possible, And why make it worse for no reason, There's no win. Like the win because I was talking to Mo about it on the day, and I was like, if you really want me to do the match, I can go and do it. And I was like, but he's gonna sub me. Like, I just can't. I can barely walk. If he grabs a straight ankle lock, I'm gonna have to tap. And then Mo's like, yeah, there's no point going out there, and it almost would have damaged what I'd done already as well, Going out there and then just getting subbed by Josh really quick, it would have like put another like step back on the performance as well. And I didn't want to go out, get injured more, and make it worse. But yeah, now I've had time to rehab, get better, rested properly. Actually, took some actual time off jiu-jitsu for once. A couple of days, went on holiday to Thailand for 9 days, didn't train at all. Proper actual rest, I always say I'm going to stop training, and then like 3 days later, I'll be like, one session's all right. I'll roll today, I'll teach the class, and then I'll train after the class. I was like, oh, that's all right, But actual, no jiu-jitsu, didn't teach, didn't do anything for 9 days. It was nice, it was refreshing for sure. But yeah, now we're back, ready for comp.
What did you make of Taylor's performance against Elder Cruz?
Very annoying. This was a thing that I was aware of going into for him going in. It was like he obviously has the negative of like not being able to wrestle and having that disadvantage of Elder being a wrestling dominant person. Like he's just gonna stall, stay on top, wait for overtime, take him down. That's kind of what happened. He's like not really engaging in the guard, not really trying to pass that hard, and then eventually goes to overtime, gets taken down. I think potentially you could argue should have got called stalling calls a few times. Maybe he wasn't being the most active. And then, like, it's just tough with someone like that, you know? Maybe I think Taylor just needs to apply more of, like, wrestling up. And I think which he's doing now anyway, you know? Getting better at actually wrestling.
Like, Taylor's guard is unbelievable.
Yeah, his guard's so good. But it's like, it's like, if you have a really good, like, supine guard, like, off of your back, and someone doesn't want to initiate in
they
guard,
don't have to.
Right? Whereas if someone like Jozef, who has a very good seated guard, I can't stall against the seated guard, you know, because he's constantly moving forward and wrestling up against me. So I can't keep backing away because he's going to wrestle up and he's going to take me down. So I have to engage forward to try and push him onto his back, which then in return entangles myself, you know? Whereas like if someone's laying on the back, you can kind of just hold their ankle and just stay in north-south and just stay in... Like just
That's what he was doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, just staying at like a distance where if he grabs you, you can run away. And then if you want, you can like pretend you're trying to pass and then not get called for stalling. And that's kind of what happened. It goes to overtime and then Elder just shoots a double leg from halfway across the mat and just takes him down. You know? Like it happens to Mateus, right? Mateus fights PJ Barch and PJ does the same thing. Mateus playing on his back, which is what you should do. I would do the same thing, you know? Like it just makes sense. If the guy's guard is almost impossible to pass, but they can't wrestle, you just try and pass not awfully too hard for 10 minutes. It gets to overtime, you just take him down, you know? Same thing, Mateus stood for like literally 1 second and PJ just shot like from miles away. Just like tapped Mateus' ankle and then Mateus falls over and it's just like 2-0 and then he loses the match because he can't sweep back. But overall, obviously, it was annoying to watch, but it's what it is, you know?
Yeah, man.
Jozef was the most annoying one of the weekend though. Oh, bro. Heartbreaking. Just to watch him beat the brakes off of Lucas Barboza and then get calf sliced in the last minute.
Mate, so...
Yeah. He's just out wrestling Lucas Barboza. I'm just like... This is sick. I'm sitting in my hotel room watching him take him down. I'm like, Jozef's the man. I'm like, finally, people get to see
how good he is.
How good he is. I'm like, I'm getting bullied for a reason, you know? He's smoking me in the training room, but at least it's worth it now. It's going to come to fruition. And then you just get caught, you know?
It's such a like weird submission as well. It's always kind of there, that submission as well, isn't it? It's like such a it feels always a bit cheap when I catch it on someone. It's like if someone's a bit better, if you get that like little underhook and just sit through, it's fucking there every time.
Yeah, and he's so strong as well, you know?
Yeah,
and it's just like, it's just Jozef's like, in his head, it's like, okay, I've just out-wrestled him for 2 rounds, out-wrestled him on the 3rd round. Jozef ends up on his back. He's like, I can just play guard for the last minute and I'm going to win. And then it's like...
Snaps out.
Yeah, just like, it's just something you just don't expect, you know? He just throws it on and it's just like... Jozef's like a very much... I think he's a very smart person, but also like, he's missing that dog, you know? Like, because I know many other competitors that would have just let their leg go and just firmed it and just accepted the pops, but like... You could see there was a point where he was thinking about it, where he was like,
he kind of went,
he was like, oh, he was like, do I let it go? And then, because I remember I asked him about it and he just said, it popped. And he said, he went to tap and he was like, if it keeps popping, he was going to tap. And if it didn't pop anymore, he wasn't going to tap. But then apparently Lucas started to squeeze again and then it just kept popping.
And he's fucking strong.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? If anyone in that division, you won't want him in that position, which you're on your knee.
For sure. So I think it just depends, you know? Like, Jozef values training way more than competition. So it's like, He was, I reckon he was probably in that calf slice thinking, I want to train tomorrow. Don't let my leg break.
Well, how old's Jozef?
Now? Oh, he's fine.
No, how old is he?
How old is he? He's 20.
That's what I mean. So, like, he's got such a long career. Like, potentially, if he'd done his ACL or something like that, the ramifications of that.
Yeah, it's 9 months straight
yeah,
away.
Like,
if it's ever as strong again, yeah.
And he is that good, like you say. He should come good at some point in competition.
Yeah, his birthday's 3 weeks after mine.
Is it?
Yeah, because I was the youngest European trials winner.
And then he
10 minutes, then he won.
Yeah, you're not letting that go, are you, mate?
No, never. I tell everyone this. This is the bane of my existence. I'd have so many more little titles and seminars if he just didn't win. If he lost to Taza, won the next trials. Mm-hmm. But he was selfish, you know. Yeah. He ran the gauntlet.
And mate, you say like how good he is in training. Like, how good is he? Because everyone seems to say that he's like super technical, smashes everything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's unreal. I mean, I watched Craig batter him, but everybody else I think he does very well against. I see him do well against Nicky Rod all the time. I've seen him take Nicky Rod down, take his back. I've also seen Nicky Rod fuck him up as well, don't get me wrong, but I've seen, yeah, he does really well against everyone. But like, it's just, how much does that matter at the end of the day, you know? Because I hear so many stories about other people who train ridiculously well, you know? Like Jason Rao, I think I hear a lot about how he's the GOAT in the gym and smashes everyone, but then can't put it into comp, you know? So I think it just depends on what you value. I'd much rather suck in the gym and get beat by everyone. And then, like, for example, Jay, before ADCC, I was watching Jay get tapped by everyone in training, you know? Everyone's leg locking him, everyone's getting in on his back, everyone's tapping him. And then he goes and has a crazy performance and competes really well and gets silver. And nobody really expects it. It's like, I'd much rather be that guy than the guy who's like, you're smashing everyone in the gym. Everyone's like, you're going to go do sick. You're going to do this. And everyone's putting so much pressure on you. Like, you're the guy. You're the best in the division. You're so good. Oh, you're beating me this easy. You're going to beat this guy so easy. And then there's so much weight on Jozef's shoulders. This little autistic Chinese kid. And he's just like, he's just going in there and he's like, oh, and then he feels so much pressure going in, you know? But I think he's getting better at like getting over that edge, you know? So I think that's also another thing. It's just like people putting so much pressure on him. Yeah. Saying how good he is like, makes him think that he should almost always win the matches, you know?
Yeah, and he's still only 20, like you said. He's got so much time.
Yeah, and he keeps getting better.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you talking about this just reminds me of Nicky Ryan. Like, everyone says how good Nicky is, and then he goes in and he just, no?
I mean, he's good, but I don't, like, Jozef is, in my opinion, I think Jozef is, like, much. I struggle way more with Jozef. I haven't rolled with Nicky Ryan much, but from what I've seen, Jozef is, like...
Is he?
Yeah, I think Jozef's better, yeah. But I think Nicky Ryan's more just, like, he's just past his prime, you know? He has too many injuries. He can't do a solid camp. He can't keep himself healthy for long enough, you know? Like, he peaked, like, 3 weeks into the camp and has a really good rounds like Kenta and Jozef, and then his knees go and he can't walk, and it's just like...
Really?
Yeah.
Savage,
he's, like, so injured and so bad and bruised. It's just like...
Yeah.
I think his peak was, like, when he was, like, beating Dante on Who's Number One, you know?
Yeah, it's a shame 'cause he's so young, man. And it makes you question, like, I know people talk about that Dana has approach to training where he gets in training all the time.
From a young age.
Yeah, and there's the argument of obviously having recovery periods and that sort of thing. You look at someone like Nicky Ryan, who's still so young but so banged up. You kind of wonder where he's gone wrong a little bit with his training.
Yeah, but you also, I think, I definitely would throw in a genetic element here as well, you know?
Think so?
Yeah, because like someone like Nicky Rod trains every single day ridiculously hard, and I've never seen him injured.
Yeah, okay.
Because like his body's just so
Monster,
sturdy.
isn't he?
Yeah, his body's just so sturdy, you know? Bro, Jozef trains 3 times a day. Every single day.
Does he?
3 times a day, every single day. And it's just, obviously he trains smart, but it's like, even if I trained how he trained 3 times a day, bro, my body's going to start falling apart. But his, like, he seems fine all the time. He gets a few niggles here and there.
Does he
but
lift
like,
weights, or is he just...
He started lifting now for the
Yeah.
past maybe, I think, year almost, if that. But like, he's always been training 3 times a day and will have hard sessions and stuff like that and still be able to maintain that without getting injured. But there are other people I know that will train hard 3 times a week and then, their knees hurt and their shoulders hurt. And I'm the one, like, if I'm training really hard consistently, bro, my body will start falling apart, you know? So I think it's also just like, can you keep up with the level of training and then like just adjusting your training to yourself, you know? I think this is quite important. That's someone like Nicky Ryan who's had so many injuries, recurrent injuries, and they're like specific jiu-jitsu ones, you know? Like his knees, his ankles, and it's just like, those are things that are going to consistently keep getting annoyed. And like every part of jiu-jitsu, you need those ligaments, like those 2 things, no? Like your shoulder, I think you can get away with like just hiding your arm, you know? I can train and not really hurt my shoulder, but my ankles and my knees, I still need them almost every single round. So it's like,
No, that's fair. And I guess it's a degree of luck as well. If you've picked up like you say, a devastating injury that's in an area that you need to use a lot, then it's going to potentially just wear out on using it.
I think he's had like freak injuries where he's just like wrestling and he just rolls his ankle and his whole like fucking like Achilles just tears, you know? And it's like how is this, like, you get like freak injuries like this, but then I watch Nicky Rod like dive on his own head and just become... It just depends. It definitely depends how you're built, and also, an element of luck. Like, do you get injured? Do you not get injured? These sort of things, for sure.
Yeah. What did you make of Jay's final with Bodoni? It was obviously an amazing match to watch.
Not enough juice. Jay just needs the juice.
When he came on, actually, he was talking about the fact that not that he's going to start juice, but that he needs to put on more mass. That he's going to start lifting more weights and eating more power. Yeah.
The whole match, he's just beating the brakes off Bodoni, but just can't hold him down. Bodoni's just so sourced. Every time he would pass him, he would just stiff arm him, stand up. Like, it just looked on and also maybe a tactical element of Jay being too much of a dog, that he's just like attacking him and then eventually gasses himself out because he's trying so hard. Like, if he took more rest periods and maybe played a little bit more tactically, maybe it would have been different. And also, I think there was a few opportunities that he could have capitalized on more, where he had like moments of the back or moments of passes where if he was a more refined grappler, like in 2-3 years, if he was in those same positions, he would have been pinning him or he would have been taking his back. But I definitely think size was a massive factor in that match, because it just looked like Bodoni could just stand up whenever he wanted to.
Yeah,
you know?
He looked massive compared to him, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just looked huge.
But he's just saucing.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. Imagine it must be so frustrating if you're, like you boys, you're top athletes, and the ones that are not taking steroids, the ones that are taking steroids, like if they actually cleaned up the sport, how many of them would still be at the top winning?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I like to know, because even though PEDs are, there's still a huge technical element to jiu-jitsu, even without it, but it definitely does help. Like you're saying, in that scenario where he could just stand up every time, you felt like you just could never pin him. Well, what happens if you could pin him? What happens if, those little elements, like, I think as jiu-jitsu carries on growing, I think at some point they're going to have to clean it up.
Yeah.
I think even for you got young lads now taking steroids from such a young age, by the time they're 35, 40, they're going to be fucked. They don't realize, and they're not just taking test. They're taking Anavar, Chen, whatever they can
I
get.
hear crazy stories about kids from Brazil who have been juiced from 11, 12 years old.
And it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that, It's not, it's like, I don't mind it when it's like, Wagner's fucking 44 and he jumps. Look, come on, man. Yeah, he's 44. He still wants to compete. He can little TRT. Is not
little TRT. Yeah.
Maybe he's not doing a little bit of TRT. He might be doing a bit more.
But there's a huge difference, though, in there, just taking testosterone and then taking Tren.
Yeah,
get Anavar, D-ball, all the shit that you can take to get as juicy as you can. But if you're doing it in your 20s, mate, it fucks up their endocrine system. Like their whole life after, when they stop is just going to be horrendous. That's why Gordon's struggling so much, because he can't come off of anything, because as soon as he does, he looks like he's fucking...
Yeah, he looks like he's dying. He gets, so skinny and it's like...
so skinny and just and it's messed up. He says about the antibiotics messing up his stomach, but definitely the abuse of steroids would have had a role in that.
Yeah, you saw it in MMA as well, didn't you? Like UFC back in the day, especially the Brazilians again, where you had all these Brazilian... just devastators just running through divisions for years and years and years, and then they brought in testing, and suddenly they all got injured, they all just dropped off a cliff, and you'll probably see that in jiu-jitsu at some point as well.
Yeah, it just must be frustrating for legit lads, that are trying to just do jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean?
For sure, but it's my only, I think thing for that as well is it's who is juicing and who's not juicing? You never know, because Levi and all the Rotolos, they claim they don't juice, right? And Levi and Cade both got to the final of CGI under 80, which was meant to be the most prestigious bracket, or the best bracket ever, And it's if two non-juicy guys both got to the final of that, and then Nicky Rod's won the million, And it's if they're not juicing, they say they're not juicing, then how much of a factor does it play? But then are they juicing? Are they not juicing? Kind of the what he's saucing. Every single time he plays the same prank on everyone. He has a 2-year prank where he'll go now, he'll lose a ton of super fights on who's number one and a ton of matches. He'll lose them all. Then he'll come ADCC and he'll just be a god and he'll just smoke everyone. Every time. Every time. He'll lose and then he'll come back and he'll just smoke everyone ADCC. The same thing. Before last ADCC, he lost a couple matches. Everyone's oh, Craig's going to win. And then he just smashes Craig in the final. Just 12, what was that? 12-9, but all the 9 points penalties or something like that. It's too funny. But yeah, he has that thing where he'll lose a bunch of matches and he'll come to ADCC and just sauce up and just be...
Do you think that's because he's cycling off?
I've heard he doesn't care. I've heard he'll just won't train. And then he'll just after ADCC now he just won't train. He'll train maybe once, 2-3 times, maybe a month or something like that. We'll just go live. I mean, he's complete jiu-jitsu, he's old man, he's done everything, he's won everything. And then he'll eventually come back for ADCC and actually train again and then get back to his peak and then
smash everyone and then just chill out again.
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
Even PJ Barch, he can't consistently train throughout the whole he's older now, he doesn't care about jiu-jitsu as much. It's he can lock down and peak for a tournament like ADCC, but then maintaining that over a year is very difficult. It's hard to do that, especially when you have other commitments as well, a gym and other things like this. It makes it way harder to be a sole competitor, whereas you have examples of Andrew Tackett, Mika, Jozef, who are just kind of free agents and they're just training and competing and they're young. Yeah,
they're young, yeah, just smashing it everywhere, innit?
Yeah, for sure. And then before ADCC, you went out to the States for a bit, right? And you travelled around. So I think, did you go to see J Flo and and those guys? Tell us about that and what you sort of took away from that training.
Yeah, it was really good actually. So I did 4 weeks 4 or 5 weeks in San Diego, and then 8 weeks in a B-Team.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in San Diego, I was training at Legion with J Flo, and I was training mainly with PJ. So the main focus was wrestling at the start, because I think it was a big thing going into ADCC that I was my weakest point was just wrestling, and the main thing I wanted to take away was just take down defense, being able to get to either a guard pull or being able to counter wrestle. I think J Flo helped a lot with this as well, with this down blocking and moving. There's a lot. They have high level wrestlers there, so there's getting the rounds in. And I remember he gave me a few good pointers to start there, and then I think PJ played a massive factor, gave me a lot of things to go away with into B-Team, and then influence with Dima's stuff where he's talking a lot about elbow passes, overhooks, and playing off of collar ties and stuff like this. It kind of all kind of melt together very nicely, and then I kind of added my own thing to it with the like submission game where I'm like jumping arm bars, jumping triangles, which I've been doing in the gi for so long, and it's kind of just like melting it all together and kind of making my own style of stand-up was definitely an important factor. But yeah, the first 4 weeks of the camp, I honestly didn't train that hard. It was more of like trying to make technical gains, like just learning the main things about wrestling, because you can't get that information here. It's just not possible. No one's that good, or the people who are that good, they don't want to teach you. They just want to sit at home and they're like Olympic gold medalists, silver medalists, bronze medalists. They're just like, nah, I'm done, man. They're like, I don't want to wrestle anymore, you know? Whereas you have people like J Flo, who is actually like a good teacher, you know, like he actually knows how to teach.
Such a nice guy as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's my weight as well. He's smaller than me, so he's like super small.
Is he?
Bro, he's tiny. He's like 70 kilos.
Oh, I thought he was like, he looks a bit bigger than that, doesn't he?
No, he's quite short.
Nah, he's shorter than me.
Because you got Max out there as well, right? Max Schneider?
Max is a bit bigger than me.
Okay.
But not like maybe a couple, five
good?
kilos. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guy as well. Super nice guy.
We had him on the podcast and he just talked about the extent of injuries and how broken his body is. And then you see him move and it's just insane.
Yeah. We had some good rounds. Yeah, a lot of rounds with him. He was trying to throw me. I was put him in reverse close guard a few times. But overall, yeah, the guys there were super nice actually. Really good training.
And were there any like light bulb moments, any things that you just thought that clicked?
Maybe not necessarily like. I think a lot of like the defense stuff, a lot of like the down blocks and like the like consistently moving in kind of angles was the main thing I took away from like J Flo and PJ. Was like I used to be quite static when I'd wrestle, you know, like I'd be in front of the person, I would do a move and then I would like kind of square back up with them. Whereas like I think J Flo was constantly talking about like continuously making angles and putting your person like on the back foot, and then in return they get these kind of like crazy foot sweeps and judo throws that they love doing, you know. And it's like I think an element of that is true, and then the element is kind of like obviously for not for Instagram but for like for playful things, you know. Like 'cause even when I train, you'll see when I train with people I'm significantly better than, I can do dumb stuff that doesn't really work, you know. I think it's the same thing with him. When he trains with people he's so much better than, he'll hit these crazy throws and then he'll just use an element of that with more legit techniques against someone like PJ or someone like Max. You know, when him and Max are doing rounds, they're like actual rounds, they're not doing these like massive crazy throws. You know, they're doing proper like inside trips, super tight, trying to slam each other chest to chest, you know. So I think actually maybe watching that was more of like a light bulb moment, watching how like reactive they were to every movement, you know, every feint they're always moving and like re-feinting and like changing levels and taking shots and things like this. I think this was quite important for me. But like I wouldn't say there was any like major like, oh, okay, this is going to change my game moments. The whole camp, I think, was just more like steady improvement. Like everything started to just like, okay, add this to the game, add this to the game, add this to the game. Okay, my rounds with this person's getting better. I'm getting more competitive with this person. Okay, yeah, rounds with Ethan are getting better. Rounds with Damon getting better. I'm just getting better, you know? Well, like I'm doing this to Jozef now that I wasn't doing before. Okay, oh, nice, this is good. And like everything's getting better, which was like overall building my confidence to peak for ADCC, which was obviously I have to give credit for Dima for how he structured the camp and like, yeah, just basically how it organized. Like I peaked almost perfect timing. Like I don't think I could have peaked any better, you know? So I think that was an important factor of, if I structured it myself, I reckon it would have been all over the place. So having someone to organize and guide it made it way easier for me. I literally just turn up, train, like almost do what you're told to a point, you know? And then you can just go home and rest and recover, which makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, that's good.
Some people have to organize their own training. They have to like make sure people come to the gym, make sure these like, okay, I need to get this person to train this person. Whereas like in B-Team, it was like, okay, you show up 12 every day and he's going to teach you a few techniques. We're going to do positional rounds and then we're going to spar. And it's like, these are the techniques I want you to focus on. This is what you're bad at. This is what you're good at. Go.
Yeah, I quite liked it when he was making you train with specific people. He was like, you're training with him. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and you just have to do that. You don't see that sort of structure in jiu-jitsu that often, do you? You see it in like wrestling and all other sports, but in jiu-jitsu, it was quite cool to see him do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why am I training with Nicky up?
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I training with Nicky Rod? The first camp I trained with him a bunch, I was like, why am I doing that? Why is Nicky Rod just slamming my guard? Like this is not helpful for any of us. Like I'm just getting blasted, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's like definitely a thing where it's like, yeah, all right, this week I want you to work on playing guard on this side. So you're gonna go with this person who passes to the wrong side, you know? And I was like,
really?
okay, good. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I want you to work playing guard on your left side. Damien knee cuts the left side. Boom, go with Damien. Focus on playing guard on your left hip. And then we'll do the round and that will be the main thing. Where it's like, if I just went in there without a structure, I would just be doing the same things and not improving. So I think it's like getting forced into those uncomfortable situations that you don't want to be in just to force you to get better. I think this is quite important. And it's something, I think this is his probably biggest skill set, is noticing like holes in people's games, you know? Like I know a lot of people aren't really convinced with how technical he is or whatever, you know? And I don't really care. People can say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, he ran a camp with the best guys in the world, and a bunch of guys had great performances. Jay had a good performance. I had a good performance. Jozef even had a good performance. Obviously not the result he wanted, but I think everyone had a good performance that like was there for the camp and put the effort in. Nicky Rod looked as good as ever, you know, like everyone looked
like a fucking animal.
Yeah. You know, like, so the structure of the camp obviously worked really well, you know. Everyone looked the best they've ever looked.
But isn't that the same as like loads of other sports? Like not always the best coaches are the best sportsmen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
for
you look at Alex Ferguson in Man United or Jose Mourinho, you know, they don't play football to a very high standard, but they're the best managers ever.
Yeah, well, John Danaher.
Yeah, Danaher.
Yeah. For sure. I do think Dima is technical. I just think maybe there's like Josef's probably more technical than him, but it's like Jozef doesn't have the ability to like pick up things that he's picking up. And also, I think the ability to control the room.
Yeah.
This was the main thing that I was like, not worried about, but the main thing I was thinking about going in, I was like, how is Dima going to handle being in a room full of the world's best grapplers who might not care what he has to say, you know? How assertive is he going to be? Is he going to be able to like control the room and dominate? And he did like, honestly, perfect. I reckon the German genes just came in strong. He just ran the camp, told everyone what to do. Yeah. And I think what gave him confidence and what helped him out was like Nicky Rod was like super eager to learn off the bat and like would ask him a bunch of questions. So I think then he just like, his confidence kind of shot into the roof because Jozef gave him like a proper like weigh in. Like Jozef almost like validated him. So then everyone was willing to listen to him, which then gave him the confidence to then speak to himself. And then this is also what some people love about him, and it's also what some people hate, you know? So people like that he's super confident, and other people are like, oh, who's this random German guy talking all this nonsense, you know? I love it. I get to sit on the sidelines and just watch everyone complain, watch people put up Instagram stories. This guy doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. And I was like, maybe not, but he's doing well for himself right now. He's getting more followers on Instagram than me. He's getting seminars around the world. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't. What can you say? You know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting to him later and learning a bit from him tonight. Actually, because I think you're right. He just seemed to come out of nowhere, but he did run a training camp for the best team probably on the planet, and like you said, it got good results and ultimately outcomes are what matters, right?
Do you think he'll go back?
Who?
Dima, B-Team.
Ask him later. I reckon I'll have some good things to tell you guys. I reckon he'll have some good tea.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
So when you got to B-Team, was he already there?
Yeah. We were all still in the house. Oh, you want to hear about this?
Yeah.
This was the crack house, bro. We had there's a house next to B-Team that we stayed in before. It's like a 3-bedroom house, and it was meant to just be like me, Jozef, Kenta, Dima, and Linus. Dima student, another German kid. He's a little bit younger than me, maybe like a year younger than me, and it was meant to just be us 5, and it was like we'd all me and Jozef would share a room, Kent would have his own room, Dima have his own room, and Linus had like a couch that he could kind of convert into bed if he wanted to. And then I get there and then it's like, oh, okay, Ben Hodge is going to stay. And I'm like, oh, cool, I like Ben Hodge. And then it's like, okay, Shushu's coming. Okay, Lynn's coming. Okay, this guy's coming. And I'm like, all of a sudden there's like fucking 12, 11 people in this 3-bedroom house. There's matches all over the floor. I'm like, how is there so many Asians in this one house? I'm like, what is going on? The house is just packed full of people. It's just people in the morning. This is like, we're cooking like 30 eggs every morning. Literally, there's one like video of Linus with like a massive pot, literally cooking, scrambling 20 eggs for like everyone. I'm just like, how has this happened? Like, how are there so many people in this one house when it was only meant to be 5? And it's just like, we got, I think it went pretty smoothly, but obviously you're going to get at each other's throat a little bit, you know, when there's this many people you're living together. It's like everyone's building up to the tournament, so people are getting a little bit annoyed with each other, but overall it was pretty funny, but it was just also kind of crazy. I was like, there is so many people in this house. I was like, it's wild. But it also then came to good training. You know, it's like there's videos of us at like 11 o'clock at night and we're all just sitting in the front room and we got Jozef and Dima talking about techniques and we're all just around them all in like pajamas and stuff. I'm like, how is this happening right now? I was like, what is going on? But overall, it was super fun, but it was like a little bit chaotic for sure. Mm-hmm. House is messy, so many people in there. I'm just like, what's going on? Waking up
shit.
Yeah. Waking up in the morning is just literally people everywhere. I'm like, everyone's scattered all over the place. It's like 4 people in one room. It's like me, Jozef, Lynn, and Kenta all sharing one room. I'm just like, the room's pretty big, but like we're all sleeping like almost next to each other. I'm like, this is unreal. But I'm out of there now, so we're good. That was funny. Towards the end of the camp, I was definitely getting frustrated with it a little bit, but now it's good.
Yeah, it'd be good memories, mate. Wouldn't it?
Ah, for
Like,
sure.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. So many funny things we did, to be fair, but it was definitely very chaotic. And I remember one time there was like a camera crew came in, that is all recording us, all us in the face on the bed. I'm like, please get out of my face right now.
It's like a zoo.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah, it's like we're wild animals. You know, we're just sitting there, it's just all up cameraing up our face. I'm like, this is gonna go everywhere, bro. Some Daisy Fresh things.
Who was the house prankster?
Who's the house prankster?
There's always one or two.
Dima was the loudest, obviously. He was loud. We had a guy called Bobby Sandu who wasn't staying there, but he was like the kind of comedian. He would like, he's actually a stand-up comedian, and he was like, bro, he's really funny, to be fair. He's actually good at jiu-jitsu as well. Right. Bro, he has the best back finishing I've ever seen. Really? But he finished Nicky Rod from the back. Bro, it's unbelievable. He's like super long. He's like 6'4" or something like that. But he's like got like a super tight squeeze and he can lock in rear naked chokes all the time. Yeah. He's not the best at jiu-jitsu. Like, he's very good, but like his back attack is the best thing. And then, yeah, he was there coming a lot. Him and Dima were kind of bouncing back each other off, kind of like good comedic value and like stuff like this. But I think in the actual house, I reckon Kenta was the kind of like the clown.
Was he?
Yeah. He's always like, he'll leave his food out and he has like loads of like, kind of like, he's lactose intolerant. And I remember one time he's drinking like a carton of milk and he's like, I'm gonna beat it. we're all like, me and Jozef like, that is not how it works.
Not training with you today, bro.
I was like, that is not how it works. And he's like, no, trust me, I'm gonna beat it. And I was like, okay.
Power of the mind, is it?
He's just on the toilet 3 times in 1 hour. I'm just like, yeah, nuts. Apparently he told Dima one time when he's on the toilet, he's like, I'm gonna have to find another career. In fact, it was so bad. I was like, you just drank like a liter of milk. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like raw milk as well, straight up. I was like, bro, this is crazy. He was really funny. He's like the most like unintentional comedian ever. Like, his delivery on certain things that are super funny. It's great. Yeah. I do miss the house, but like I'm 50-50, you know. I miss it, but I'm also like glad that it's not that chaotic, you know. I would love it. It would have been nice if we were like all on the same street, but not in the same house. And we could kind of meet up for dinner and stuff and joke around. But all of us being in one house was just like...
Or just a bigger house.
A bigger house, yeah.
It's just a bigger house.
You just got to be able to get away from people, don't you?
Yeah, because sometimes just not being able to, like, I couldn't just sit in my room and just be by myself, you know? It's like, there's no way you can go, like, if you want to go have a phone call, you go outside, you know? Because there's nowhere, there's always somebody somewhere. Like, if I'm in the room, someone's in the room. If I'm downstairs, someone's downstairs. Or if I'm, like, in the kitchen, someone's there. Like, everyone's everywhere, you know? There's always a person somewhere, you know? You got to hide in, like, the downstairs cupboard. It's like, just to make a phone call, but...
What do you make of Austin?
It's all right. It gets a bit boring, you know. There's not much to do, but like you see Barn Springs a few times, and like you see a few things, and you're like, oh wow, cool, and then it's completed, you know.
See what a few times?
Barn Springs is like it's like a natural.
Is it like that lake?
Yeah, it's the lake thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a lake.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice. Yeah. It's like cold water and stuff like this, and obviously Austin's super hot. It's like crazy hot, but like I don't know if I could ever live there, but like visiting is suiting. Nice weather, people are nice, food's great, good training. It's the best, right? And it's also 6th Street as well. Shout out 6th Street, little party avenue. You know, they have a few good nightclubs there, a few good party lifestyles. So that was also quite good. But I rinsed that, to be fair. First 3 weeks, I was there every weekend without fail. I was on that street. But yeah, overall, Austin, it was nice. It was good, but just not livable for me. But I think it was a good experience for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll go back for the camps.
Yeah.
If Demon announces it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll wait and see.
And how did you get on with the kind of the key figures in the B team? Obviously, sort of Ethan and Nicky and those guys. Obviously, you didn't do much training probably with Nicky, as you say, because of the size difference, but probably trained a bunch with Ethan. Did you guys work together quite well?
Yeah, I trained all the time with Ethan. Sorry, we were probably the main training partners for each other for the camp. I don't know. Maybe he won't agree with that, but that was for me. He was my main training partner. Like,
I think you might have mentioned that actually.
Yeah, like he was like the highest level. He was honestly the best 66 I've ever trained with.
Yeah.
So it's like I was always constantly comparing myself to him when I was training. I was like, if I can do things to Ethan, it's gonna work at ADCC. So it was almost like I would take stepping stones. Honestly, Damien is probably one of the most underrated grapplers. So I think Damien's very good. I literally like...
Just got his spot belt, doesn't he?
Yeah. But I think he's really good at jiu-jitsu. Like when I train with him, there are definitely positions that I think he's very good at. Obviously now he's more down the MMA route, and he was doing that more when we were at the camp. So he wasn't obviously at his peak, but I do think jiu-jitsu wise, he is undoubtedly a very good high level 66er. And yeah, Ethan was the main trainer partner. Obviously, still getting rounds, you know, people like Jozef, Kenta, all of these guys, which was like more of like medium heart rates. But I roll with Jay a ton. So yeah. I got along well with Nicky Rod. We used to play spikeball, you know, me, Ethan playing spikeball as well, you know. I think that was also the good vibes as well at B-Team, where it's like, it wasn't 100% serious, you know. We could like chill after training, talk, vibe with people playing spikeball, people messing around, like going to eat, and not being like consistently so like uptight the whole time, you know. People were like a lot more relaxed, especially this camp. I think because it was the second time I went to Austin as well. They almost like get comfortable with you, you know. It's like the first time you meet someone, you're like, okay, you're still getting to know them. Then you see them the second time for like another trip, and it's like you're just way more.
You're more relaxed.
You're way more relaxed with the person. So I think that was a factor, you know. My second time there, they were like, oh yeah, Owen's back, this kind of thing. So yeah, I got along quite well with everyone at B-Team. And I trained with the majority of the time Jozef, Jay, and Ethan. Ethan was definitely my main training partner for ADCC for sure. And then, yeah, that's it. Damon as well. Shout out Damon. All of those guys.
Yeah, awesome. And then obviously since ADCC, mate, it doesn't look like you've stopped traveling. It looks like you've been everywhere around the globe.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, man. So tell us about like the, kind of post ADC, the travels, where you've been, what you've been doing.
Yeah, this is, I shouldn't be able to organize anything. No one should trust me to organize nothing. Yeah. Because I basically made the mistake of booking things pre-ADCC and then post-ADCC. So it was like, I had seminars in like Hong Kong. And then I had like, so I was like, I went to China to meet Jozef, Shanghai. Then I went from Shanghai to Hong Kong. Then Hong Kong to Taipei. And then Taipei, I had to go back to Portugal. And then after Portugal, I go back to Bali. So it's like I'm going like back and forth, you know, because everything is just so... It was honestly amazing. Like I got to see so many different countries and do so many things, but it could have been structured significantly better if I just organized it much better. But I'm not the best at organizing, but it's okay. I'm going to get someone to do that for me now. I'm going to get somebody else to plan it for me. But that was the main thing, I think, just organization. But apart from that, it was unreal. Like I literally went to Shanghai. Then I went Shanghai, Hong Kong to Taipei. So it was all kind of connected. But then I went from Taipei to Portugal. Then I go from Portugal to Bali. I come back from Bali to London for a few days. Then I go to Thailand. It's like, why am I constantly going back and forth? And it's like, I'm going to go to Spain to train with Mateus now on Tuesday. And it's like, so I've come back to then I'm going to go again, you know. So it's like, so I come back. Yeah, so I come back for the seminar here in this podcast. And then I have the seminar tomorrow. And then I'm going to go back to Spain, train for this AIGA. Then I go to Kazakhstan in December. And it's like, and then eventually I think January is hopefully when I move to Atlanta to open up the gym. So it's like, everything's back here, back and forth, 16-hour flight, 20-hour flight to Australia. Yeah, I come back and then I go to Australia after Thailand. It's like everywhere, back and forth. But I've met loads of lovely people, traveled, seen crazy stuff, ate amazing food. Asia, unreal. The food
that
there's,
good?
bro, food there's so good. I like Asian food as it is, and it's food there's just so cheap as well. I love being in other countries and paying with a Revolut card. And like it's like I'm in Australia and it's like $40, and I tap my card and only $20, like £20 comes out, and I'm like, I've just saved £20. You know? I just lied to myself every time I make a transaction. I'm just like, I'm in like Bali and it's like got some massive number on it. And I'm like, damn. And I tap it, it's like £2.50. I'm like, oh, yeah, look at that, cheap as hell. You know, I'm just like lying to myself. I'm loving it. I'm in Thailand. I'm like, that looks kind of expensive. What, 200 Thai baht?
Just gambling.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't even know how much that is. I'm just tapping the card. Like, it's a game of roulette. What number's going to come up on my phone, you know? And then the number comes out. I'm like, oh, sick. You know, we got away nice with that.
It just shows though how expensive it is here. Like,
bro, it's ridiculous. For what?
Exactly for what?
For horrible weather and rubbish food. I love you, London. Sorry.
We talk about this all the time, though, don't we?
But everyone
in
Jiu-Jitsu always asks me, they're like, "Why do you live in London?" I'm like,
"Well, you're not going to soon, are you?"
Not going to anymore. I was born there, brother. It's my dad's fault, actually. But yeah. But it's nice if you want to visit London for a little bit. You know, the spectacle of the city. But I was born there. No, lived there for 19 years. Like, I'm over it. I've seen everything. I've done everything. I'm so used to it. Like, people come to London and they'll get on like the underground and they'll see like the London Eye and they'll be like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm just like, for me, it means nothing, you know, because it's just so normal to me. Like growing up, that's just a thing, you know, getting the train, getting the bus, all of these like things are all quite normal, you know. Jozef was hating it. He was like, because he said it was so poorly organized, which to be fair, the underground system and overground system compared to like the Chinese like public transport, bro, it's not even close.
Is it not?
Bro, oh my, it's so clean and so well organized.
Yeah.
Trains are never delayed. They have like exact timers.
I was
when
going to
the
say,
train's
they're
gonna
not
come
like
in.
to be like longer than a couple seconds late, else they get massive fines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's literally it'll be like your train's coming in 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And it'll be like a consistent countdown, and when it gets to 1, your train will be there.
It's crazy.
And they have like lines where like you have to queue to get on the train, right? So it's like if you get there first, you stand in the line and people line up, and then everyone gets on the train. If you don't make on the train through the line, you can't bully your way on.
Okay.
Whereas like London Underground, brother, 8 a.m.
mate.
Bro, if you get on, you get on.
Yeah, that's it.
You
mate.
know, if you big body your way to the front and you wiggle in, you're in. Or if you're gonna sit at the back, you're gonna have to wait for a few trains before you get on. Whereas like they actually have like everything's organized, well structured. It's a bit crazy, honestly. It's a bit wild to see, but it is very clean. Everything's organized.
The Elizabeth line in London's not bad though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's new, right?
Yeah, it's just one line.
Yeah, it's one line, and it's like
This much of London's good.
it's brand new, and it's like how long until they get the hands on it? How long until they start
Yeah,
graffitiing
man.
it all up, and then it gets too chaotic and stuff like this. You know?
Yeah, the underground's hideous.
You get on like the central line is just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You get on the Victoria line, the seats are dirty. I'm just and then like literally it's like 8 a.m. and it's like proper like packed.
Oh, you stood in someone's armpit, aren't
Literally,
you?
you're like face to face with people. I'm just
Everyone's
like,
on like the over rail.
I know,
ones as well,
mate.
so you're literally in someone's arm bar.
brother, imagine you're 5'8", man. Now it's fucking. Now you're on.
Mostly it's people in my armpit.
Yeah, I'm here trying to fight off the people. I'm like, this is not life, man. I can't wait to get to America and just drive the whip, drive the Hellcat. Just
Biggest
go.
car you ever find.
Yeah, just the wide one.
Yeah.
Big body.
Yeah, it'd be cool, man. So, what was your favorite place on your travels?
Ooh, I like Taipei quite a lot. It was.
I've not really heard of Taipei. Whereabouts is that?
Taiwan.
Okay.
It's like Taipei City. It's like surrounded by like mountains, and it's like super like nature, like a lot
nice.
of trees everywhere. It's like food there great. Jozef's dad's actually lives there. We did a few seminars there. Jiu-Jitsu was decent. Overall, like quite nice, super cheap, chill vibes. Everything. Nightlife there was unreal. Like, yeah, just unreal.
They love a party. Don't
Yeah,
they?
there's like the street is just rammed full of people. It's like every Friday, Saturday, it's just like massive amounts of people on the street, and like you can get in everywhere for free. They're not charging entry, and it's like you can go into different places, and yeah, it was sick, unreal.
Class.
But, yeah, Taipei is probably my favorite place that I visited. Australia was nice to see. Obviously, you know, I saw some kangaroos and saw some other like kind of little wildlife and stuff like that. But I definitely think Taipei. I also spent like the longest time there. I was there for like 7 days, so it was actually like kind of a holiday, you know, because like people will be like, oh yeah, you got to go to this place and this place. It's like, well, if I fly in Thursday night, I teach Friday and I fly out Saturday morning.
Yeah, you're working. It's different. It's not the same, is it?
What have I done? Maybe I get to try nice food, but that's it, you know. It's like I've taught, maybe I can see 1 or 2 things and then I fly straight out, you know. Whereas like I was actually there. I went to saw like a load of different things, sightseeing and walking around, seeing animals, and obviously it helps that Jozef's from there. Because like his dad lives there and stuff, so he knows what to show you and knows what's kind of cool and what's this. Whereas like you go to a random place, you have to kind of search and do your own research and stuff like this. Actually, saying that Thailand was pretty crazy. I saw some wild stuff in Thailand. Yeah, the stories are true.
Is it the first time you've been?
That was the first time I've been.
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. It's bonkers.
Yeah,
man.
I was on Pattaya. I was like walking the street.
Oh,
I was like, woo, this is wild. I was like, damn. I'm seeing some crazy scenes. I was like, I saw one of them ping pong shows. I was like,
literally about to ask.
I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This would not run in London.
No, man.
This would not slide. It was crazy. It was mad cheap as well.
Yeah.
But the thing about Thailand was, because I went there with a good friend of mine, and I just got the accommodation, you know, and I was spending like £100 a night, and I was having like pools inside of my hotel rooms and
it's
like
insane. Yeah.
pools outside, like beachfront pool hotels. It's like unreal hotels with like crazy like breakfast, bed all included, rooftop bars, and it's like £100 a night, bro. In London, brother, £100 a night is getting you
It's not even getting you a travel lodge.
a box. Yeah, you're
Not
not
even
getting
getting
a
a
travel
travel
lodge.
lodge for 100 quid.
Yeah. You got to call up in advance 3 months at a time to get something for £100. You know, you're gonna get bumped. You're gonna get some tiny little box with like a rubbish shower for 120. You know.
Yeah.
In Thailand, I'm getting like top 5-star hotels with like amazing service for cheap. I'm like, this is so good.
You can see why people go out there, don't you?
Yeah.
You can see why they just
for
they
sure.
think, fuck it, we're gonna go out there and just live cheap. You know, I know a lot of people they just rent their houses out They just literally, if they got like quite a nice house, they'll just rent out for a couple grand a month. Go on, see you later.
Yeah,
Live
people
out
are
there.
so nice as well.
Yeah.
Everyone was so nice to me in Thailand. Like I didn't have really much, no really rude encounters. Stuff like this. To be fair, Australia was the same. And this is the thing in London, you know, everyone's so focused on what they're doing.
Mate, everyone's pissed off because it's always miserable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's overworked.
Everyone's thinking about
everyone's
paycheck
got
to
so much.
paycheck.
Yeah, everyone's paying so much taxes. Everyone's skint, isn't they? So
Yeah,
they're
no
having
one's-
to like.
no one's enjoying life.
Like-
No one is enjoying life. Yeah, but it's overall, it's just not. It was fun to live there. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do the next adventure with Atlanta, however long I'm there for, and then eventually, I reckon one day, retire somewhere like Bali or Thailand or something like where it's like your money's gonna go further and you have more like beaches. Bro, I want to like go on the beach, surf. I want to chill, do like see nice things, have nice dinners, and not get bumped by like £500 to go to some shitty place in London. You know?
Yeah.
So you've mentioned Atlanta a couple of times, mate. So what's the plans there? What's happening?
Yes.
What's the news?
So I'm opening the Apex Atlanta. I'll be the head coach at the gym there. I believe we're looking to open in January. Nothing's set in stone yet, but we have the property. We know where it is. It's been announced on the Instagram. If you want to check it out, I'm more than welcome to. If you don't, fair enough. Do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm going to be moving there just because it makes more sense for me, just as an athlete, just to be out in America. Jiu-Jitsu is way bigger there. B-Team's a closer flight. Vegas, everything's way more accessible. Like UFC Fight Pass, One Championship, WNO, all in America. And it's like, the minute I announce I'm moving there, all of them message me because it's like the flight's gone from £1,000 to get me from London to Vegas to £50 to get me from Atlanta to Vegas, you know? So they're
nice.
they're like, okay, you have £900 now more that can go onto your purse, right? Whereas like they have to pay my flight and now the purse, it's like, they're like, oh, no, stop that, And now it's like, it's the cheaper flight. They're like, okay, all right, when are you in Atlanta? And they're like, let's book some stuff up. And I'm like, sick. So I'm planning a couple super fights, a couple camps at B-Team. I think Dima's going to announce something soon. I don't know anything set in stone yet, but I'm sure there's going to be some nice information soon. So
nice.
More camps, training out in America, obviously running my own gym. That'll be a nice like adventure as well, Like, I think I always live life for just to do things. Try and like, why not just run my own gym?
Yeah, that'd be cool. And why did you choose there?
It was actually Elliot who chose there. So he has like family ties out there, his girlfriend, they're having a kid out there. He already has a property, everything's kind of like leading towards that direction. He just kind of wants, it's well connected, not much jiu-jitsu there. There is a few people out there, like Paul Ardilla, he's won trials 2 times at under 99. There's like a 10th Planet Atlanta out there. I think Ryan Aiken trains there. He competed at ADCC. He done really well. He's actually doing that PGF right now.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty well on there. He's smoking up some people on there.
Mate, that PGF looks sick.
Yeah, he looks pretty wild. Yeah, it looks pretty wild. I hope they do a little 70 kilo one maybe. That'd be pretty sick. Right now it's just massive people. So do maybe a little 70 kilos will jump in that as well. That'd be pretty sick. But yeah, overall, it just makes more sense to be in America, more connected, more super fights, running the gym, making more money, everything kind of just leads towards that direction.
Yeah.
for
So
me.
it's you and Elliot going out, is it?
Yeah. So
okay,
Elliot's going
nice.
to be out there soon, and like kind of like he's going to be basically like the money man behind everything, kind of organizing it. And I'm just going to be the head instructor, teach the jiu-jitsu, and then when I want to fuck off for 4 weeks to go train to do CJI, I can,
Yeah, that's cool. Because I was going to ask, do you worry there's going to be an impact on your ability to camp and compete and everything else? But
No, I think
potentially not.
he made it abundantly clear that it's like, at the end of the day, the better I do in competition, the better it is for the gym, the better it is for publicity, for everything. So it's like holding me back doesn't really make too much sense. So it's always keeping that availability. Obviously, there's going to be an element of commitment I'm going to have now of having to be in a certain area for a longer period of time. But as long as everything's structured well and I give him notice in advance, and it's like I'll be able to take time off to do camps and go train and do. Because like I could teach Monday to Friday and then go to literally Austin Saturday, Sunday, and then come back Monday morning.
Yeah, it's
and
nearby.
teach. Yeah, it's like there's like consistent flights and they're cheap, and it's like I think it's like a 2.5-hour flight, maybe something like that. It's like, which is not that bad. It'd be like me getting on the Eurostar to France for a weekend and coming back. Like I could do that, like if there's someone staying there, like Declan has somewhere for me to stay, and I can just jump over there, stay, train over the weekend, and then come back. Like it doesn't really make too much difference, So like just having that more accessibility to go and train with high level guys, and
Just America's so much better connected in it than Europe and stuff.
yeah, for sure.
It's just so easy.
So many consistent flights flying over from Atlanta as well. Like it's like the airport's flying out. There's a little private airport next to where my gym's gonna be. Craig wants to swing by, maybe a little seminar. But
That's sick. And what was it like getting like visas and stuff like that? Was that because
I think it was quite easy because of the accomplishments that I've had now. I reckon before would have been a little bit difficult, but everything kind of happened right after ADCC. Like, at least the visa stuff, I had the plan was kind of before then, but like the visa and all that stuff started coming through after ADCC. So I always had like I got a lot of like, they asked for like letters of recommendations, and I have like Mo Jassim, Craig, all of these people signing letters of like, basically like affirming that I'm gonna be like a good competitor, etc. Like I'm a benefit to the sport, so it makes it way easier to get these visas. You know,
that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you see loads of people who are like honestly aren't that great who get the visas. Well, you know, as long as you have like a good lawyer and you have like a relatively good backing, you have someone out there who's gonna get behind you, and like it's easy for me because I have two of like the biggest organizations backing me. You know, now like CJI and both ADCC both saying, "Oh yeah, he's good." They're like, "Oh, sick." Easy.
Come in.
Yeah. Welcome, you know. The only one I ain't got is IBJJF. They don't like me, you know. But
who?
IBJJF.
I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, it's deserved. I talked shit about them before. It's because they didn't let me compete at IBJJF Worlds as a purple belt. Do you remember when I got my brown belt too early? I think I discussed this on the podcast. Maybe I didn't.
No, you didn't. No.
Oh, because so I went to B-Team for that camp for the Who's Number One. I was gonna do Who's Number One, and then I was gonna do Nogi Worlds, and I was gonna come back. So right after I won trials, I got given my brown belt. And then I was already registered for Nogi Worlds. And I tried to change my belt to brown belt. And they're like, "Oh, you haven't been a purple belt long enough." Like just after I beat Ash Williams and everyone at ADCC trials, I was like, all right, fine, I'll compete at purple belt. And then like a week before Vegas, where I've like got my accommodation, my flights, everything, they're like, "Sorry, we've been informed you're a brown belt. You cannot compete at purple belt." I'm like, I'm not a brown belt. I'm not a purple. What am I? Let me, like, I'm paid to compete. I have accommodation, flights to Vegas. For all you know, I could have flown from London. That could have cost me £1,000. I did fly from Austin, so it was cheap. But, like, they don't know that, you know? So it's like, I've taken the financial risk of coming out here and, like, paying you to compete, and then you're just going to give me my money back and not let me compete in a division. I was like, okay.
Oh, so they just fly.
They literally just sent me an email, just gave me a refund. I said, nah. I was like,
and either belt. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I emailed them back. I was like, why not?
Is it because of the 2-year rule, isn't it?
Yeah, something like this, yeah. And do you know how short off I was?
Oh, mate, I wouldn't even
4 days.
No, mate.
4 days after the comp, I would have been eligible for brown belt. I was fuming, bro.
Yeah.
I was fuming.
That's so
I was
silly,
pissed.
That is
I was
just
on
so
Instagram.
silly,
I was on Instagram, and I was like, "Whoever report me to IBJJF, you're a pussy." I was like, "Whoever's in my division and you're shook of me, just come out and say it." And I don't think they're too happy with that, but they're probably over it. I'm irrelevant to them. They make so much money.
Yeah,
they probably do not care at all. You know, they make so much money.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. They have the highest level guys paying to compete. That's crazy. How's Fabricio Andre, Isaac, Dorline all paying to compete? I mean, obviously they're not paying. Sponsors are paying, but it's like someone's still paying for them to do it.
Yeah.
Which is mad. It's crazy. They must be raking, bro.
Yeah, mate. It's big business. Did you say you're competing in December somewhere as well?
AIGA. Yes. I'm on Team Alion. It's actually a decent team.
Okay.
It looks sharp. It's like the qualifiers for the main tournament.
Okay.
So there's a main tournament for 1 million, I think, some point next year.
Okay.
And there's been a few trials. So like Team Adolfo, that's like Mo Jassim's team.
Right.
I think Team 10th Planet maybe won the US AIGA trials, but there's now the Asian one, which is the last one, I think. It's like Team Alion has got Daiki. You know who Daiki is?
No.
Some Japanese guy. He got silver at trials, Asian trials. He's doing under 60. We got Shushu, the guy who won Asian trials at under 65. We got myself at under 70. We have Kenta under 76. We have PJ and Jozef at under 83. Then we have Kaya Rudolph and I think Lucas Cannard at under 93.
Nice.
And then over that is Declan Moody and Daniel Stewart. So it's quite a good team, honestly, that have been put together. I think there's a few reserves for the lighter weights that I can't remember right now. I'm very sorry. I apologize. But there's a few other people on there. But overall, it's a solid team. There are obviously other teams out there that are going to be very good. They've got like Kynan and Pato and Dorian on there as well. So it's like...
So it'll be really good. And what you competed for, 1 million, you said?
Yeah, the other one. The trials at the minute is just to qualify.
Yeah.
I think we should steamroll everyone pretty easily from what I've seen so far. Like, we're kind of clear. All the good people are already in teams, and it's like, because the Asian guys have like the least amount of money, you know? Like, Team Adolfo is like, Mo's probably just paying everyone it's like $5,000 to show to do the trials, you know? So it's like, everyone's already getting, all the good guys have already been snapped up and taken. So it's like Asian trials, like Alion's taken the last of like almost the good guys who are willing to do it. Because like Nicky Rod won't do it because it's like no one's gonna pay Nicky Rod like 50K to show to a tournament. You know, it's like because you're gonna have to pay him that now because that's what he's getting. You know, he's won the million now. Like UFC Fight Pass are paying him bread. So it's like the people that are attainable to get, I think, are all in teams already. So we should steamroll the Asian trials, and then obviously then the AIGA main tournament next year for the million. That'll be interesting to see. You know, as long as I win my matches, then whatever happens, it's not my fault. I win my 3 matches, I'm in the clear. I didn't know this up to everybody else. You know.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, maybe cool. I just wanted to circle back real quick because I wanted to ask you about Australian training. You trained with Lachlan and Levi. I want to talk about Levi's guard real quick before we wrap up because it was insane.
It is very good. Yes, it is almost like impossible to pass. I got a few good looks with thigh drags that he was we were talking about when I was training with him. Like obviously he's also way too big for me to be able to pass anyway. But like I got close a few times, but it's just so hard to get close to him. He's like very good at like framing. He's consistently out pummeling with his legs. Like he'll never let you get the front foot, you know? I think I've never seen in the whole of the CJI, he never let anybody get really chest to chest. He's consistently hand fighting, getting 2-on-1s, making good grips, making offensive guards, entangling people, off balance. Like every time he gets to a Delahiva, he'll off balance entangle you. And like he won't just sit on his back and just try and high leg. He'll literally like you'll post on him, he'll strip your hand, entangle you, and it just feels like you're constantly under threat. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna play some guard, and he got up and he just melted my guard, and I was like, let me back on top. Let me back on top. I said I prefer being in his guard than underneath him, bro. His passing was outrageous.
You've seen that CGI, though. Like I think that's what Cade thought. He was like, I want to swap, and then he straight away was passing his guard. I was like, Cade stood back up.
No, get off me. I felt the same. I was like, I just want to feel the passing, and then I literally did the same thing. I was like, I'm standing back up. Get off me. Sit back down, please. I fancy my chances more about stalling on top than getting rinsed from bottom. But yeah, him and Lachlan training was pretty sick. I also trained with Lucas Canard. His guard was unreal as well. Yeah, I couldn't do anything to his guard actually. I struggled a lot more with Lucas Canard's guard than Levi's. But obviously, I didn't do anything to either of them. But Lucas Canard is bigger. He's like 90 kilos, 92, 93. But watching him train with Jozef as well, Jozef kind of struggling to pass his guard. No one really got close to passing his guard. So it's pretty impressive to see.
He's going to be good. Well, he's good, but you know what I mean? I think he's going to start winning.
Yeah, like come and excel him.
It was a relative unknown coming into CJI, I thought, wasn't
I think he's coming on here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, yes. Yeah, bro, like the Australian guys have all got that like crazy good guard, you know?
Yeah.
They love it, innit? Like Lachlan, Craig, Levi.
Do you think, is that Lachlan's genius, do you think?
Nah.
No?
Nah, you can't give one person credit for that. Because actually there's a guy, I only found out this recently when I went out there. I think it's Ariel Tabak. I think this is like an unknown Australian guy, and like, bro, his guard was basically unpassable. Like, I didn't train with him, but like, apparently he's like has like the best. Everyone in Australia was telling me that his guard retention details are like unreal, and like how he like showed Lachlan a bunch of different things, and like they kind of like both like kind of planned out the instructional together, like Lachlan's guard retention instructional, and like I'm sure there was like guard players before Lachlan, you know. Maybe he had an influence, but I think giving him 100% credit is kind of crazy.
No, of course.
But yeah, he had an influence for sure, but I think there's definitely other people, like Jeremy Skinner's also very good, and his guard's getting significantly better because apparently he's training more with this Ariel Tabak. I hope I'm saying his name right. But shout out to you, Yeah, wavy guard. He fought Cole at Panpax actually in the gi, and he just lost 2-0. He got taken down at the very start, and Cole couldn't really get close to passing his guard in the gi.
Really?
Which is because I think Cole's passing in the gi is actually very good. I don't think his no-gi is that good. I would smoke you up for sure. But his passing the gi, I think, is very good. And he didn't really come close to passing his guard. So his guard retention looked really good, super offensive. So I do want to train with him. He looks pretty sick. So I think there's a bunch of different guys who are out there just playing guard. I think it's just like same as Europe. People just love playing supine guard off their back, you know? You get people like Mateus and stuff like that who just play off their back. Mateus, Taylor, Owen. Owen's switching up now because he realizes you kind of have to play seated to beat better guys. But like they all have the same issue where they get stalled out and lose matches like that. Levi doesn't play too much. Levi plays seated as well, but like Lucas Canard, Mateus, and all these guys, they all just play. Lachlan just play straight off their back, you know? And then they get stalled out and lose matches. But yeah, overall, Levi, unreal. Lachlan, a little bit older, but still just so good and very technical. Lucas Canard, fucking smashed me.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jeremy Skinner I trained with quite a lot before. I like him, very nice guy. He was also very good. one of the most technical people I know, actually. Fucking has some super nice. He's able to tell me what I'm doing, which is great, you know. Because sometimes like I'm just in jiu-jitsu, I'm just not thinking, I'm just doing. And he's able to like kind of like break it down into like techniques, and he's like, oh, I noticed you're putting your hand here when you're doing this, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I do that, and then it kind of like gives you the reason why you're doing things, which then I think in return makes me a better teacher and helps me teach other people, which is nice. It's helpful, you know. It's good. Yeah, so shout out all them. Yeah, Australia, bro. They got some good grapplers out there. Some all right talent. decent level.
Couple of good guys.
Couple all right little gems out there. But yeah, I think they're taking the scene. I think everyone's getting better. You know, everyone's getting more and more competitive. But it's just a matter of time. Europe still kind of sucks, but we're getting there. We have a few more people every now and then breaking the surface, you know. So it's pretty good.
Man, the level just globally is just insane now, isn't it? Really, when you just sort of go back sort of to when you probably were starting, and you know, I'd been training for years still, but still rubbish. But yeah, I mean, it's getting good, mate. It's sick. I don't know how much better it can really get, but I'm sure it will somehow.
Yeah, I think it's just like, obviously we're still seeing Americans and Brazilians winning everything, but it's just getting like people from Europe, people from Asia, people from Australia are consistently putting their name closer towards like the podium, closer towards the gold, you know. I mean, like even like Adele, she won double gold in the women's division at ADCC. Yeah, and she's like 50 something kilos, like 57 kilos. I didn't train with her, but I was out there. She was out there when I was out there. Very good, obviously. She trains at Atos. She was Australian. I think she was the first Australian to win ADCC, right? Which is pretty crazy. So it's like there's definitely more people coming every now and then. So it's pretty sick. People breaking the surface, doing bits.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm one of the guys who wins ADCC. This is the goal, is to be the first, because City 6 still only won by Brazilians.
Is it? Okay.
Only won by Brazilians. No Americans have won. It's literally just been Brazilians the whole of history. So if I can break the cycle and be the first non-Brazilian, that means I beat the Americans and I'm the first British person to win. First British male to win ADCC.
See, that's the goal, yeah?
It's still within grasp. Yeah. We got that because, Hayes won again, so it's still Brazilian.
Yeah.
So hopefully 2 years' time, I'll be way better.
Yeah, man.
I'll smoke up them all. That's the plan.
Smoke them.
And other than that, what are the sort of long-term goals other than growing, obviously, Apex US?
Yeah, Apex US.
You any interest in a sort of IBJJF world title or not?
I might put the gi back on. Depends how things go, you know. I might wrestle. Who knows? I'm serious.
Put on the singlet.
Put on the singlet. little Commonwealth wrestling for Wales, you know. Who knows? I might become a little wrestler, but we'll see. I don't know, because I'm always about accomplishing different things, you know, taking different routes. So it's like for example, if I have a great year this year and I like compete on like, I don't know, Polaris, who's number one, I win a bunch of matches, I win CJI, then I'll just genuinely go and do something else. You know, I'll learn to wrestle or go do the Commonwealth or put the gi back on or just try and do something else. You know, I'm not too, I know like certain people want to like dominate for years to come. Mm-hmm. I'm not really about, like that doesn't do anything to me. It's more just like accomplishing multiple things, you know, like I'd rather have like won a bunch of different things, different sports, than just like be dominant in jiu-jitsu for a length of time, you know? Because like also if you're dominant, eventually it's going to come to an end. Because no one's dominant forever, you know? Like either you retire and like people are like, oh, you're running, or you lose eventually, you know? So it's like, whereas if I've won ADCC, I've won CJI, and I've got Commonwealth Wrestling for Wales, I've done this, I've won the gi, I've won this, you know, it's undeniable then. It's like, I've done multiple different things. It's like, I'd rather be a good athlete than just like good at jiu-jitsu. Because you can still be a knee and be good at jiu-jitsu, whereas if you're good at everything else, it just makes you're a better man, you know? That's the goal. Be the best man possible. Have a successful gym, multiple different athletic careers. That would be ideal, you know? Maybe some darts, bro. So I can a couple pints, couple 180s. You never know.
We'll see, mate. Mate, you could do darts, mate, right into your fucking 60s. You'll be all right.
You should be playing COD together until you're 60, won't you? Probably be that COD World Champions, mate.
COD is
little esports, bro. I started playing Black Ops 6 the other day. That shit is fire, bro. I got a little itch back. You know, I'm like, oh.
A little bit obsessed with zombies at the moment, mate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, have you played the new zombies?
I haven't, no, but you think it's good?
Yeah, it's like, I don't normally like zombies, but this one's actually decent.
Maybe I'll have to give it a little go. Shout out Activision, please sponsor me.
Can we clarify who's better at you two at COD?
Probably him, yeah. It's not by much, huh?
No, not by much. I'm not the jiu-jitsu, huh?
Yeah, but jiu-jitsu, I'll give him jiu-jitsu.
yeah. I'm better at Call of Duty than at jiu-jitsu, though, I reckon.
He said this last time. I don't know, mate.
Hey, listen, we didn't play too much, man. You didn't let me that warm up, bro. Little 1v1. You'll see the levels, bro.
Mate, in fairness, I haven't been playing it much lately.
I haven't. I've been traveling so much, but in Australia, one of my friends, Kai Rodolph, he has Black Ops 6. I've played a few games, and I was like, oh,
That new movement, mate.
Yeah, the Omni movement. I was getting the itch back. I was like, I need the controller. I need to start playing again.
It is good, mate. It's the most addictive game. It's fucking like.
It's so bad for you, but it's so good.
I've just got him onto Fallout. He's never played Fallout before, and I was like,
He lost me for a whole week, basically, mate.
I thought something was wrong, mate.
I was like, you all right?
I was like, everything all right? And he's like, mate, I'm locked into the Commonwealth. I was like, yeah, it's fucking got you. What's it got you? It's got you. That game.
Yeah,
Like, I've
bro.
completed that so many times, but COD does the same, doesn't it?
Bro,
It's that
yeah,
sort of-
it'll just be like, I'll just get the itch, and it'll just be like 8 hours a day. I'm just in front of the screen, just.
Yeah, mate, I know. It's dangerous, mate.
Yeah, it'll be like
It's dangerous.
I always get the camo grind itch where I want to get the dark matter.
Mate, I just started that. On the zombies, it's disgusting. It's so shit. It's so
I fall
boring.
into it though. I get caught, and I'm like halfway through it, and I'm so depressed. I'm like, I want it to end, but I just can't stop. I just can't stop in that.
It is a slippery slope, mate.
I'm just
It is
like,
a
I'm
slippery
gonna do
slope.
it.
Like, once you start that, it is.
Yeah.
Because as well, like, I want those camos because I want them when Warzone comes out. Like, I want to, like, my little gold gun, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want a little dark matter, you know what I mean?
wavy camo on the same gun that everybody has, but mine's a little bit better.
But it takes me 80 hours to get them.
Yeah. I've wasted literally so much time investing into a camo that I'm not going to use in a year's time because it's going to be a new Call of Duty. And I'm going to do the same thing again. But I'm going to do it every time. It's going to happen.
We all do it, don't we?
Yeah. It's so bad.
It is fucking sad, really, isn't it? It is, mate. The funny thing is, you do this camel grind as well, and then they'll bring out like a pack with a new operator in a flashy gun, like that just fucking changes colour or something. It's 20 quid, and I'll buy it.
Yeah, and you'll use it over the
I'll use it over all the stuff that I've grinded for like 100 hours. I'm like, oh, fuck my life.
Bro, but you get to see how sneaky people are, you know, how quickly they get the camo as well. You know, the game's been out for 2 weeks and someone's already got it. Like, you actually need to touch grass, man. Go have some oxygen. Go touch a plant, bro. Get out of your house a little bit. Yeah,
See some of the streamers, mate, like Sims, like
so-
Teep and that. They're just
They've really
they do
mastered the
12-hour days every day, like
Fucks
no
like
matter
work.
what.
It's
That's what they
literally
do.
like work.
He like clocks in and out. Really, he's like, oh, I've done 10 hours today. Yeah, good day. And I'm like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
tough.
yeah.
Imagine
That's
doing that
tough.
consistently though.
And it's
Imagine
like-
doing that like 6 days a
Also,
week.
You notice they play by themselves.
Yeah.
But I can play by myself for maybe like an hour, 2 hours. The enjoyment of Call of Duty is you're with the boys.
Yeah, it's your
One
mates,
of them's
isn't it?
doing shocking and you're just grilling him. You're just like, yeah, you suck. Yeah, like Jozef's just, I remember he played on one, he's just doing horrible. I'm just grilling him. He's like, stop it. Stop shouting at me. He's just so bad. I'm just like, at least you're bad at sign. You know, he sucks at Call of Duty.
See, the lads I play with are just shit. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
by far and way better. So I can just constantly give them shit. Like, and then
outperform.
it's so nice, isn't it?
Great, yeah. You dropped 13 kills there on like 1 and 2.
Yeah,
You're
1
just-
and 2, yeah.
You won the game. You,
You
just
feel
carried
like
them.
a god, mate.
Yeah, the little ego boost. You're like, oh yeah, I'm the man. Just sitting in front of your screen, just like headset on. Probably look like a neek, but you're like, I just carried the
true.
boys.
Did you boys play with Kit Dale yet as well?
No, I play with Kit. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kit's quite good.
Is he?
Kit's quite good. Yeah, he's fucking.
Do you know who's good? Bro, Andy Varela. I swear
Is
to
he?
God, Andy
Is he?
Varela's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's very good. Yeah. He's good at sniping. Andy Varela. I play with a few jiu-jitsu guys on the good old Warzone. But Andy Varela was one of the guys who surprised me. I was like, he's gonna be dead.
He's gonna be shit.
I was like, he's gonna be shit. And I played with him. He did good, bro. He was keeping up with the squad.
See, I've gone back to controller, so I went keyboard and mouse for a while, and then I've gone back to controller. That was a bit of an adjustment, but I'm fine now. It's better.
You
It's
know
better.
who is very, very good? Nicky Ryan.
Oh, you said this to me. Yeah,
Brother,
you said this.
he
To me.
is actually, you know how people talk about his jiu-jitsu? They should talk about his Call of Duty like that. Because he was dropping 30 kill Warzone games and I was like,
No way.
bro, yeah, he was
30
actually
kills.
sick. Yeah, he was very good. I was like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah, 30 kills is.
Is that good? Is it?
Mate, I've been playing it for years, and my most is like 24.
Yeah,
and that's
because
like
he was doing ranked and he was getting to like, I think I was stuck at Diamond and he was getting like all the way Crimson. I think
No
he was,
way.
yeah. He was doing, but he is one of the criminals for this will play hours on end.
Is he?
Yeah. Just sit in his house, just not.
Yeah,
need
his
to play
bad
games.
knees. Just,
Yeah,
just
he
fucking-
can't walk. He's just
this. Losing all his cardio.
yeah. Shout out to all the Call of Duty players, bro. The Camel grinders.
Yeah. Mate, do you want to shout out any sponsors before we wrap up?
Boys Progress, Apex Jiu-Jitsu, the gym, my future gym. Apart from that, Battle Soap, sponsored by them as well, a few other people. Who else? Shout out to my dad. He's here in the back. But yeah, he drove me up here, so I wouldn't be here without him, He's done a few important things, but yeah. So shout out to him. Shout out to sponsors, my professor David. Yeah, that's it. Shout out to you guys as well. Thank you for having me for the second time. It's a pleasure. It's always good to talk to you guys.
Thank you, mate.
And then seminar later today, it'll be sick.
Yeah, man. Good to see you again, man. All the best for the future.
See you later, mate.